for NCAA Division II football. Today at Caniglia Field in Omaha, Nebraska, the University of Nebraska at Omaha takes on Northwest Missouri State in an NCAA Division II first-round playoff game. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Weber. Welcome to Caniglia Field here on the UNO campus in Omaha, Nebraska. The UNO Mavericks taking on Northwest Missouri State this afternoon, first-round Division II playoff game. We're going to bring you all the color and highlights and all the action of the game today. Joining me, Merlin Klaus up in the booth.
Well, Dave, it's a thrill to be here. Behind us, you see Northwest Missouri working out. And a special hello not only to our Omaha fans who are staying warm today, but the fans down in Maryville who are watching this on Channel 6. Dave, this is a battle between teams that have similar stories. Both a couple years ago were down in the dumps. UNO won one game. Northwest Missouri won no games in 1994. They're back on top. They're 10-1. The players know each other. The coaches know each other. A lot of Northwest Missouri players played here on this field in high school. So there's a lot of things going in this one. We're looking forward to the action this afternoon.
We're looking forward to a great ball game. Joining us in our broadcast team on the field will be Ross Jernstrom. Rossi?
I tell you what, I think I drew the short end of the stick today, guys. You're going to be up in the booth. I'm going to be down here in the sidelines, and it is going to be cold and wet. I watched both quarterbacks in the warm-ups, and they had trouble holding onto the football because it has rained since last night. We've got drizzle this afternoon, and the temperature's in the mid-30s right now. But we have a wind out of the north at 15 miles per hour, and that is going to be a factor in the game. So we might see a lot of turnovers in the game. It's hard to cut on this field, even though it's artificial turf. It is slippery, so expect a lot of north-south running. But I tell you what, you guys are going to enjoy yourselves up there in that warm booth today. Back to you.
Thanks, Ross. Ross took a look at some of the key players in this upcoming ball game. We'll have that report for you right after this. Welcome back to cold and wet Caniglia Field here on the UNO campus in Omaha, Nebraska. Big playoff game in Division II coming up just moments away. UNO takes on Northwest Missouri State. Some key players in this ball game. Ross Jernstrom took a closer look at them. Let's take a look at that.
One thing that both teams have done successfully is run the football. Both averaged over 200 yards a game. Though UNO has several backs to call on, Melvin McFall has powered his way to over 800 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. Northwest Missouri will counter with Jesse Haynes. The senior was an unknown quantity when the season began. He had not played in 3 years, but regained his eligibility and came up with a monster performance, breaking a school record with over 1,400 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns. Both teams have effective quarterbacks as well. UNO's Ed Thompson has run the option well and is a big play specialist. Over 2,000 yards in total offense, accounting for 23 touchdowns. The Mavs also have some excellent receivers. Marte Jenkins and Jake Young have been go-to guys all season long and are dangerous on special teams as well. Northwest Missouri quarterback Greg Teal has literally rewritten the Bearcat record book. The senior owns 19 school offensive records. He also has accounted for about 2,000 yards in total offense and 22 touchdowns. The Bearcats have averaged an impressive 37 points a game.
We'll be right back with kickoff from UNO, Caniglia Field here in Omaha, Nebraska, UNO and Northwest Missouri State in just a moment. Good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome back to Caniglia Field here in Omaha, Nebraska, where we're just moments away from the University of Nebraska at Omaha taking on Northwest Missouri State in a first-round Division II NCAA playoff game. The temperature, 37 degrees, but the wind is out of the northwest at 15 miles an hour with a freezing kind of drizzly kind of cold out here, and that wind's making it all that much colder. And going into the wind, I think Merlin Klaus is going to be a difficult thing today.
Well, and that's very true, Dave. And both teams will tell you the key to today's game, whether it was windy, rainy, or sunny, would be to run the ball. Both teams like to run the ball. They both need to stop the run. They both are very aware of what they need to do. And it appears that Northwest Missouri, Dave, will receive the ball, and UNO will defend the north goal. So Northwest Missouri will be going right into the teeth of that wind and into the misty area.
The play between the offensive and defensive lines, always important in the ball game. Really important in this one. Like you said, they're going to try to run the ball, I'm sure, straight up and down the field. And hanging on to the ball, too. There's head coach.
It's Mel Churchma.
Mel Churchma from Northwest Missouri State.
Pronounced a little different than it's spelled. Mel, of course, at Northwestern of Iowa for many years up in Dutch country, and he also coached at Denison, Iowa. He's turned things around, and there you see the UNO coaching staff. Pat Burns, it's Jeff Jamrog, the defensive coordinator for UNO. And we're just about set to kick off. Paul Cosell is out on the field. Cosell, a former member of the Burke Bulldogs. There's Pat Burns, who has done such a great job, Dave, in turning the fortunes of the Mavericks around. Just a couple years ago, they won one game in the season, and Northwest Missouri won that game. So both these coaches have done wonders at their places.
It's incredible that this would be the first-round matchup. Two teams so similar in their fortunes the last 3 years.
Yeah, and if you would have said 3 years ago that, or tried to predict that this would happen, I think you wouldn't get too many takers on that. There you see Paul Cosell trying to get that ball dry as he gets ready to kick off here at UNO. We're about 20 seconds away from kickoff. Going deep for Northwest Missouri will be Mark Survey. Mark Survey is going back there along with Charlie Pugh. And Dave, we're just about ready to go here at Caniglia Field with a Division II playoff game, Northwest Missouri and UNO.
Okay, we're ready for kickoff. Paul Cosell ready to boot it north to south. With the wind 15 miles an hour behind him, he should get a pretty good foot into this one.
Cosell does have a strong leg, and he's capable of kicking this one right out of the park. Here we go, Dave.
And it's going to be taken right in the end zone. Just over the end line, bounces through. So it'll be 1st and 10, Northwest Missouri State on their own 20-yard line.
And spirits are high already in the early going, Dave. These players know each other well. A lot of their coaches work the UNO summer camps, and so there's a lot of familiarity between the teams. A lot of spirits, high spirits today for this one.
Greg Teal starting at quarterback for Northwest Missouri State. He grew up right in Maryville, Missouri. And he's their starting quarterback. He holds 19 school records. Throws 54% and a single back lineup, wide receivers left and right. And he keeps the ball, fakes a handoff. Now he's running around the left side. He's got some room, a blocker out ahead of him. And he picks up 9 yards up to the 29-yard line.
And that's what makes Teal so dangerous, Dave. Coach Burns was talking to me last night and said he's not necessarily the quickest or the strongest guy, but he gets it done. There's the lineup for Northwest Missouri. Teal, Evans, Jesse Haynes, the guy to watch, the running back number 43, over 1,400 yards. Matt Becker out of Millard South is the tight end. Wade Hanson, the split end, though they have a lot of receivers. Dorrell, Brown, Coppinger, Baker, and Gilbert rounding out the offensive line.
All right, single back, wide receivers, 2 of them to the right. And this time it is a handoff to Haynes, and he gets the first down just over the 30-yard line.
Haynes is a very interesting story, Dave. Hadn't played for a couple of years, came back this season. They didn't know what to expect. He wasn't even in the preseason media guide, and he scored 17 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. He is a load to watch on the field.
He's a senior from Fort Worth, Texas. And here's the UNO defense.
Hanson, Weininger, Holston, and Neben, the front line for UNO. Davis, Titus, Sullivan, Tate, Bartling, Welch, and O'Neill.
Okay, the lineup, a deep back. Tight end goes in motion, and it's a fake handoff out in the flat and it's complete for about a 2-yard gain to the 32-yard line.
They're calling that incomplete, Dave. He dropped the ball.
Oh, didn't see it over there. Other side of the field, Craig Evans.
Craig Evans is what they call a B-back. The A-back would be Haynes, their main running back. The B-back will be all over the field. They run a lot of formations, Dave, and UNO defensive coordinator Jeff Jamrog was very worried about lining up correctly because they throw a lot of stuff at you. As you see right now, they're coming out in the I formation.
I formation, wide receivers left and right, tight end in motion. And it's a pitch to Haynes. He's got some room on the outside. He's gone. He's all the way. Touchdown, Northwest Missouri State.
70 yards for Jesse Haynes. Dave, that was a beautifully blocked play. UNO bodies laying all over the place. Haynes did his job there, but he didn't have much to do with the openings that they gave him. And what a start for the Bearcats of Northwest Missouri. 70 yards for Jesse Haynes. His longest coming into this one was 67, so that's his longest run of the season. There you see it. Once he got through that interior line, he can turn it on.
And like you said, Merlin, running straight up and down the field. The players trying to make cuts across the field to get to him. We're falling down, slipping.
6-0, Dave.
Going for the extra point now, Northwest Missouri State.
Purnell is kicking that one.
And it's good. And your score. 14:07 left in the first period. Just 53 seconds into the game. Northwest Missouri State 7 and UNO nothing.
We'll be right back. Go ahead, Dave.
We'll be right back after this.
All right.
Back to Caniglia Field. Northwest Missouri State lining up to kick off. Dave Purnell will do the kicking. Back deep for UNO. Marte Jenkins, Jake Young, and Pat Davis. Jenkins number 1. Jake Young number 3. Pat Davis number 6, standing at about the 7-yard line. And they'll be kicking into the wind. So you can imagine it's not going to go as far as Cosell's kickoff with the wind to open the game.
And watch Jenkins and Young especially, Dave. They are dangerous return men. I know this is part of the plan for Pat Burns to get something going with the special teams.
Okay, here we go. 7-0 Northwest Missouri State, a minute into the game. And it's going to be short. Taken at the 20-yard line and fumbled. And UNO has recovered at the 25-yard line.
So the Mavericks off to a very auspicious start here, Dave. They will get it at 25, but Jenkins did not get a chance to show his stuff there, losing that ball. And let's set the offense for UNO. Ed Thompson, a quarterback, having a fine season. Mickey Corey, the fullback. Jeff Redzina starts to tailback, although several players will come in. Young, Benjamin, and Jenkins, Donahoe, Patnasil, Wegner, Bover, and Jarrett, the offensive line.
UNO comes out in the I formation, wide receivers left and right. Ed Thompson hands off inside. And there's another fumble. And Northwest Missouri State has recovered at the UNO 26-yard line.
Northwest Missouri recovers that, Dave. That was Damon Doris, the rover back, picking that up. And the Mavs really are off to a horrible start here today. The big play by the Bearcats and now the fumble, and they are knocking on the door again. And this is what Pat Burns feared, because he says the Bearcats are very opportunistic. When you make a mistake, they will pounce on it, and they are in scoring range right now.
Pat was worried about UNO getting off to a slow start, and so far they certainly have. Northwest Missouri comes out with wide receivers to the left, 2 of them. Single running back, Haynes. Tight end in motion to the right. And it's a pitch to Haynes again. He gets outside for 5 yards.
And once again, that's what makes Northwest Missouri so dangerous, Dave. Not only do they have some skilled players, but they really run the option very well. And here you see them running the option, which is the play that Haynes scored on earlier.
This is set up so well by the quarterback. He holds onto the ball till the very last second. Takes number 8 out of the play, at least for 6 yards.
Lamar O'Neill finally making the tackle. UNO a little decimated in the linebacking core, Dave. Their 2 starters are gone, and O'Neill and Welch will have to pick up the pace for the Mavs on a 2nd and 4 yards to go.
Okay, 3 wide receivers this time for Northwest Missouri State. Single back. And it's a handoff to Haynes around the left side. He gets outside now. He's taken down for a loss. Nice defensive play there by Ben Titus.
Ben Titus, the former quarterback from Burke High School, came up from his safety spot and forced that action.
That's a loss of 1 back to the 22-yard line.
Let's take a look here as the Mavs force things, and you'll see Titus flying in there making the tackle. Haynes is not a shifty runner. He's a straight ahead runner, tough to bring down, but he was a dead duck on that play. So it sets up a 3rd down, Dave.
Okay, we got 3rd down and about 6 from the 22-yard line. Wide receivers left and right. Haynes single back, and it's a handoff to him inside, and he's got a big hole outside. And then he falls. He goes down. Oh, he's still up. Down to the 7-yard line.
Several Mavericks had a shot at him, but this guy is tough to bring down. He's listed as 200, and he is 200. He's very concerned about not adding any more weight to his total, but he plays much heavier, Dave. as we take another look at this. He's the single back, and they just blocked that thing open for him. Couple of missed tackles, stays on his feet. Look at that.
He gets out of that. I can't
Low
believe
center
that.
of gravity, and it's 1st and goal for Northwest Missouri at the 8-yard line.
Northwest Missouri out with a single back again. It's a very effective formation for him. Way wide double wide outs. And a pass. Oh, they got him. They sacked him. That's a sack for number 51, Jay Weininger.
And
a sophomore from North Platte.
Brent Neben also in there, coming in from his defensive end position. And that was a huge play for the Mavs. Here you see the replay. The outside receiver was covered, and Teal just ate it. And they'll go at it again. This time it's 1st and goal from the 14-yard line, Dave.
Okay, 14-yard line, 2nd down and goal for Northwest Missouri State. They go to the shotgun, 2 backs, 3 wide receivers. And it's a fake handoff and a lob pass into the corner. And Haynes is held up at about the 5-yard line. Nice work there by number 46 for UNO.
That's Jason Bartling, the linebacker from Sydney, on the coverage. And that's going to bring up 3rd and goal from the 14. So the Mavs stiffening a little bit here, trying to at least force a field goal try. And a field goal try is not a bargain on today's conditions, Dave. By
Good
any
work by
stretch.
Bartling there, staying with Haynes.
And our viewers are seeing exactly what Coach Burns was worried about. These guys do come out in a different formation every time. Now they're in the single back formation with Haynes back there.
Tight end goes in motion. Has a pass over the middle. He lobs it high, and it is in and out of the hands of number 89, Steve Comer. He was there. The ball was there. Just got batted away from him.
Good work by the Mavericks on this one. I believe that was Cedric Welch and Bartling that were back there on the coverage for the Mavs. So that'll set up a 4th down situation.
If the Mavs can get out of this with only giving up 3 points, that'll be a lot better than 7.
Be about a 32-yard kick, Dave, for Dave Purnell. He's on the left hash mark.
Into a 15-mile-an-hour wind. Snap, and it's down, and it is just through.
Oh, man.
Got to those crossbars and hit the wall, but dropped through.
Yeah.
And that makes our score 10-0.
11-13 left to go in the 1st quarter, Dave. And let's go to a timeout. We'll be back with more action from Caniglia Field.
Welcome back to Caniglia Field. Northwest Missouri State leading UNO 10-0. We're still in the opening moments of the ball game. Northwest Missouri State scored quickly on a 70-yard run by Jesse Haynes, and then a turnover on the kickoff. And they got a field goal out of that, Merlin, and UNO is in the hole they didn't want to be in.
Yeah, they haven't had a chance to do anything on it. Well, one play from scrimmage, that fumble. And so let's see if Jenkins, Young, and Davis can maybe get a good return out of this and get them some field position to work with.
They should be able to, and they're about 10 yards further up the field than they were for the opening kickoff. They're all lined up around between the 15 and 20. And we're ready to kick it off. Dave Parnell. And this one's really short.
You know, that was almost close to being recovered by Northwest Missouri, but it sailed out of bounds. Now the Mavericks have a choice of where they want to get the ball.
That only went 25 yards straight up in the air over toward the far sideline. And UNO will get the ball at the 35, I believe.
For Dave Purnell's sake, I hope that was intentional.
They'll get it at the 37 almost, where it went out of bounds.
That worked out well for the Mavs. They have some room to work with, but they have a 10-0 hole with 11-13 left to go here in the 1st quarter. And the Mavs aren't used to being down this much early in the game. They've been a quick starting team for most of the season. So it's going to be a real character check coming up here.
Okay, Mavericks in the I formation. Thompson, the quarterback, over center. Ball goes to Melvin McFall, and there's another fumble and a flag.
Well, let's check this one out, Dave.
And another flag.
Another flag back in the defensive backfield. A little action going on with Marte Jenkins and a Northwest Missouri defensive back. They're discussing it now.
That's Bobby Nelson from Chicago. The defensive back for Northwest Missouri State. Flag on the line of scrimmage is offsides against Northwest Missouri State. And then personal fouls against UNO and Northwest Missouri State. Unsportsmanlike conduct. There's McFall on the replay. He had the ball, got hit right there, dropped it, and fell on it.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Mavericks.
The end result, Dave, I think is going to be 5 yards for UNO.
After all that.
I see Ohio State leading Michigan in the third quarter, 9-7. So the Buckeyes don't have that national championship wrapped up yet. BYU doing well against Utah at the half, 20-3. And Notre Dame leading Rutgers 35-0 in Lou Holtz's final game. All right, it's 1st and 5 for the Mavs, Dave. They have it at their own 41.
Okay, I formation again. Wide receivers to the right. Thompson rolls out right, now cuts it up. He's got the first down and more. And he's brought down at the 43, 44-yard line of Northwest Missouri State.
That's about 16 yards, Dave, and Thompson is a fine quarterback. They made the decision to start him right before the season opener, and it turned out to be a good decision because he has given UNO several dimensions there. Good option player, good thrower, big play guy, and he's the second leading rusher on the team, over 600 yards rushing. And that's a first down for UNO at the 45 with about 10:30 left in this first quarter.
Okay, wide receivers to the left for UNO, I formation. And the handoff inside. That's Mickey Corey, and Corey goes all the way down to the 15-yard line.
All right, the Mavs coming back with a vengeance. That's about a 30-yard pickup for Corey. Now let's take a look at that. Let's watch the middle of that open up. You see Corey bouncing off a couple of guys, and he gets in that secondary and starts lumbering, Dave. That's when fullbacks break free. We call it lumbering.
We also call it flags. Down on the goal line, there was a little altercation. We got a personal foul against UNO. It was after the play.
So it's a dead ball foul, and that's going to bring it back.
They'll march it back from the 15-yard line back to the 30, I would think.
You know, Dave, from the opening kickoff, it seems that both teams have tried to make a statement that they won't be intimidated. The coaches may get along well, but the players aren't so far. So UNO dropping back to their 30-yard line.
It's like you said, Merlin, there's a lot of kids from Omaha in this area on the Northwest Missouri State team, and the same with UNO. I'm sure they played each other in high school, a lot of them.
Yeah, and I believe it was Aaron Becker from Millard South said to me that he wanted to make sure, as I'm sure some of Becker's family is in that crowd today, he wanted to make sure that people didn't say he made a mistake going to Northwest Missouri, and so they're out to prove that they didn't. But that was costly for the Mavs. They were down at the 15. They're back at the 30 before a chilled assemblage here at Caniglia Field.
Warm and dry, the key words here today at Caniglia Field.
For us, Dave.
Single back, 3 wide receivers for UNO. 1st and 10 from the 30. Thompson back, fakes the throw. Now he's going long over the middle. He's got a receiver, and it is almost intercepted in the end zone.
That was almost picked off by Brian Sutton, as that was overthrown by Ed Thompson. Yano Jones of Northwest High was the intended receiver. Let's take a look at Thompson. I think he wanted to throw right away or get Jenkins open long, but instead he had to go to Jones. Jones pulls up here over his head, and behind him, Sutton almost made the interception.
You know, throwing with that wind, I'm sure that had something to do with it, that 15-mile hour. It's a little bit more than 15 now out of the north.
2nd and 10, Dave.
2nd and 10, wide receivers left and right. I formation for UNO. Hand off to McFall inside, and he slips, goes down at the 29.
That's going to set up a 3rd and long for the Mavs. But in these situations, Dave, the Mavs are a lot like the Huskers in that they'll go to the option, they'll run the ball. There you see McFall deep in the backfield.
Melvin's having his problems today, holding on to the ball and staying upright.
And Ross had talked about the inability to cut for the players today. That certainly came true on that play.
Okay, it's 3rd down and just 9 yards from the 29. Thompson back to throw to the sideline, and
wow, there's a flag on that, but I'm not sure who it's going to be on. Jenkins just tackled Bobby Nelson of Northwest Missouri.
Let's see who gets the flag. Both fighting for position.
Well, we saw the shove earlier. As Jenkins was going down the field, they were jockeying for a position. Then he came back and tackled Nelson, but they must have seen Nelson do it first.
You know, they heard that big wrestling tournament's today. They thought it was out on the field. It's inside the field house.
I think that was 2 points for a takedown there.
Here's a look at the replay. Maybe we could see them jostling each other down the sideline. There's the throw.
Jenkins, such a fine one-on-one receiver. Maybe Marte was just a little upset and said, hey, if you're going to do that to me, I'm going to do that to you.
Marte was going for the ball with his right hand. Maybe that's what they called. Anyway, it's 1st down and 10 at just inside the 15-yard line for UNO.
Just a little over 9 minutes left to go here in the first quarter, Dave.
Northwest Missouri State leads 10-0. Single back for UNO, 3 wide receivers. It's in reverse.
That's Jake Young.
Jake Young breaks away from the initial tackle and is brought down about the line of scrimmage, just inside the 15.
That play has worked well earlier in the season, Dave, for the Mavs, but apparently Northwest Missouri had that one scouted very well. They stayed at home. Young, a very dangerous player. Last year he was UNO's leading receiver. He's kind of taken a secondary role this year to Marte Jenkins, but he's still a dangerous player and just couldn't shake free on that one.
So that makes it 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10 basically from the 15 again. I formation, wide receivers to the left. Hertzina in at I-back, Corey at fullback. Thompson takes the snap, inside handoff to Curry. This time nothing there. And he gets about back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
That will set up another 3rd and long for the Mavs. So hopefully there's another interference penalty coming up. 10-0 UNO trailing with just over 8 minutes to go in the first quarter.
You know, this is the kind of ball game I thought it was going to be, except for that first quick score. Kind of a struggle back and forth with the defenses. Wet football, lots of wind. Hertzina in the single back formation, 3 wide receivers. Inside toss. Oh! In and out of the hands of Marte Jenkins.
Boy, they had the play they wanted there, Dave. Jenkins with inside position. He might have taken that one into the end zone, much less getting a first down. That's going to set up a 4th down field goal situation. And let's take a look at Thompson. Right on the money, right in the hands, and that ball bounces away. It makes it 4th down. And Paul Cosell comes in to try a field goal. It'll be about a 31-yard attempt. Cosell has had an erratic year, but he's had some big kicks as well. So let's see if he's on track here today, Dave.
Titus is holding. The kick is up, and it is no good. Wide left.
So with 7:46 left here in the first quarter, the score is Northwest Missouri 10 and UNO nothing. We'll be back with more from Caniglia Field after this.
First down, Northwest Missouri State, their own 20. Handoff to Haynes, and he is going to be outside. Back to the line of scrimmage. He loses about a yard, but boy, he could have been tackled for a loss there.
Brent Neben chasing after him, could have gone down for a minus 3 or 4, but Haynes keeps his feet, and that's what he does so well, is just keep his balance.
Very strong runner, Merlin.
He's about 24 years old, Dave. Last year he was working in an ever-ready battery plant, staying in shape in some unusual way, and whatever it was, it worked because he's turned out to be one of the best players in the country this year.
Okay, 2nd and 10 from their own 20. I formation. And the handoff to Haynes once again. He gets outside, and he's taken down at the 24-yard line. That'll make it a 3rd and 6. Northwest Missouri State going into the win, but leading 10-0 with about 7 minutes left in the first quarter. 7:30 left in the first quarter.
So 3rd and 5 situation for Northwest Missouri. They have a lot of receivers that they can go to. 4 or 5 guys they've gone to all season long. Perhaps Matt Becker, the tight end from Millard South, will be a guy they'll go to here. Watch him, he's number 88.
Okay, they split the backs this time in the shotgun formation. 3 wide receivers. And it is going to be a pass, and he lobs it. Oh, nice defense there.
Seal going long to Jason Melnick. And I think there was some contact on that play. Pat Davis a step behind. Let's see what happens here. Pat Davis on the coverage of Jason Melnick. Just a straight fly pattern. Wow.
Now he got his hand in there on the ball. Oh, so the Bearcats are going to punt from their own 25. They're punting into the wind. A high snap taken down, and the kick is away. It's a good kick into the wind. Fair catch signaled for, and it'll be UNO's ball at just outside the 40-yard line.
Russ Turnstrom standing by on the sidelines. Russ, what do you have?
Murr, I've got Demetrius Richards, an outside linebacker for the Mavericks. He was injured in the Augustana game with crutches here on the sidelines. Demetrius, what does it feel like down here?
It feels exciting. I mean, we've been for the first time in the playoffs since '84. I mean, I'm totally excited. I know I'm not here to play, but I'm with my teammates no matter what. So I'm just really excited just to be here. God gave me the opportunity to be here. I'm happy about that.
What did the defense try to do today to stop Haynes and this Northwest Missouri team?
Well, they're a real high proficiency passing team, so basically we're trying to be out physical. We just want to be more physical than them, stop the run. As you can see in the first play, we had to stop the run. That's what we had to do.
Back to you guys.
Towards Corey. Incomplete. UNO going with the wind in this first quarter. You know, how many times have you seen it, Merlin? The wind's coming out of one end, and the team takes it and does better going into the wind than they do with the wind. It just seems like it'd be backwards.
Well, it certainly worked out that way today, and Thompson disrupted on that play. The Mavs trying to pass on first down, and it just didn't work for them. 2nd down and 10 now.
2nd and 10 at the UNO 40. Option right, Thompson keeps it, and he's going to pick up. Oh, and he gets tripped up and goes down about the 48-yard line.
Thompson, the ball carrier.
Somebody got a hand on his foot. So UNO is going to be faced with a 3rd and 2.
Here's a look at the replay. Thompson had the seam and just
he tripped himself
over his own feet. You're right, Dave. Boy, he had an opening. 3rd and 2. About 6:30 left here in the first quarter.
Thompson optioning again, and he's going to be sacked for a loss. Back at the 45. UNO is going to be forced to punt now. 4th down and 5 at their own 45-yard line.
That's Kirk Larson, the defensive end, a senior out of Cedar Rapids, who brought Thompson down. Great
Nice
front
work.
line. Here we see the Bearcat front line at work. They're all seniors. They read that perfectly. And the Mavs will face a 4th and 5 situation.
Larson came off that block and made a nice play. Snap back, and the kick is away. A driving kick with the wind, and it is going to be fielded at the 13-yard line, and that's where Jason Melnick is going to go down. Good punt coverage. About 6 UNO players right in front of him when he caught the ball. The score, 10-0. First quarter, Northwest Missouri State leading UNO. 5:38 left in the first quarter. We'll be back after this. We're back on the campus here at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, the brand new Student Center. And out on the field, 1st down and 10 for Northwest Missouri State from their own 13-yard line. They lead 10-0 late in the first quarter of play. Shotgun formation. Teal is back to throw. He's going to run it now. Now he throws it. And it is caught and incomplete.
Right over there in the Northwest Missouri sideline, they're calling it a catch, but the referees say no way. That's incomplete, and so that will bring up a 2nd down for the Bearcats.
Boy, I'll tell you, I know Thompson does the same thing, but Teal gets outside, could throw or run, and the sideline was wide open there for him to run. He chose to throw it, and it's out of bounds. 2nd and 10 from their own 14-yard line.
About 5.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Teal is right out of Maryville High School. He's kind of a local hero. Kind of. He is a local hero for the Bearcats. 19 school records for him.
A lot of senior leadership on that Bearcat team. Wide receiver in motion. Single back is Haynes. And Haynes gets the ball off tackle, bumps outside, and he's got plenty of running room again. He goes all the way to the 35-yard line.
You really have to compliment what the Bearcat offensive line is doing to the Mavs, because the Mavs are not an easy team to run against. Let's see Haynes here. And he has all sorts of room. Of course, he plays off those blocks very well. And that's Lamar O'Neal, who has to play catch-up and finally knock Haynes out of bounds, but not before another big gain for the Bearcats.
They seem to be able to pinch those defensive ends, Merlin, inside and get to the outside pretty easily. Okay, 1st and 10 from their own 35. Teal with the reverse, and just like for UNO, it did not work for Northwest Missouri State. Mark Survey is taken down for a loss of 7 yards, but there's a flag on the play up at the line of scrimmage. And we got holding on Northwest Missouri State, so that'll take it back even further if they accept the penalty.
Let's take a look here. Survey trying to get outside. Whoever was holding, it didn't help. And that was Damon Hansen.
Nice tackle there by Hansen,
the senior defensive end, who brought him down in the backfield. And they are declining the penalty, Dave, so that'll bring up a 2nd and about 16.
Yeah, it would have been 1st and 20 or 2nd and 16. They declined. So the ball is at the just inside the 29-yard line of Northwest Missouri State, going into the wind. I formation. Tight end goes in motion. And an inside handoff and a nice, oh, is he down or not? No signal yet. Boy, Haynes got a hand down and stayed up.
Well, his center of gravity, his balance is amazing, Dave. Maybe not as quick as a Barry Sanders, but very similar in the way he runs so low to the ground, kind of like D'Angelo Evans of the Huskers as well. Look at that. He kept his feet.
That's a great run.
And another.
Not quite a first down, 3rd and 3. Yeah.
There's some of the Maverick fans.
That's the toughest job in the stadium, Bert, trying to stay warm today.
They're brave, they're loyal, they're cold.
Okay, 3rd and 3 from their own 42. Haynes the single back. And it's a pass out in the flat, caught and then dropped. What are they going to call it? Incomplete?
He was popped pretty good out there, Dave. That was Mark Survey, who would have had the first down. Let's take a look at that again. Survey, one of the smallest players on the field at 170 pounds, and he is whacked.
He is hit.
Nathan Tate, the sophomore out of Quincy, doing the work in the backfield for the Mavs. That was a big play. They'll bring up a 4th down situation. 4th and 3.
4 minutes left.
Tate hurt by that play, shaken up a little bit. He had to leave the game.
Burnell back to punt. Gets it away into the wind off the side of his foot, and it's going to be very short. And a little bit Northwest Missouri State bounce. Now a lot more. It's going to roll down to about the 27-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for UNO. And they'll get one more series with this wind.
That's actually Shane Gladwin, Dave, who does the punting. And that wind, as you say, is tough. And the Mavs have some more good field position to work with. They can't complain about that. Let's see what they do with it here. With 3:49 left to go in the first quarter. It's too bad that the weather was so dismal today, because this place could have been packed. It seats 9,500. They were hoping for that. They fall far short of that today. Dave?
Okay, I formation. Wide receivers left and right. Handoff inside to McFall, and he bounces and loses 2 yards. They take him down at the 25-yard line.
Ross Sternstrom standing by on the sidelines with Don Leahy. Ross, what do you have for us?
That's right, Murray. With me is Don Leahy, who has done a tremendous job here at UNO helping turn this program around. Don, this has got to be a special day for you.
It's a special day, and you know, Ross, really, we had a couple of bad things happen to us there early. That option play was perfectly executed. Then, of course, we fumbled on the next play. Then the Mavericks came right back, and we had, Eddie was going to make a long gainer there and slipped and fell. Marte had a chance for a possible touchdown there on the 5-yard line and dropped it. That's unusual. So I think we're settling down now, Ross, and the Mavericks have done this all year long. We've been down in at least 6 ball games this year, and we've come back to win it. So we're not through by any means.
This is going to be a special day for you just to be in the playoffs.
Well, it is, and Pat Burns and his staff has done such a great job, and the way they have recruited and the way they have coached this team, and we're very, very pleased, Ross, yes.
All right, Don, we hope to see you next week, too.
All right, I hope so. I'm so proud. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, Don Leahy, the athletic director at UNO, back to you guys.
Thanks, Rossi. Thanks, Don. It's 3rd down for UNO, 3rd and 6 from their own 31-yard line. Thompson with trouble getting a handle on the ball. He finally picks it up and gains a couple of yards, but UNO has dropped the ball several times.
They're in another 3rd and long situation, Dave. 3rd and 6.
Thompson back to throw. Quick pass. This time it's caught. Caught by Marte Jenkins.
Jenkins dropped the ball. Let's see if they rule him down. They're going to rule that's a UNO completion.
And a first down. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Ross Jernstrom will have all the highlights of today's game as well as a look ahead to next week's big matchups on Sunday Sports Extra. Sunday night, 10:35, following the Channel 6 News at 10.
It's a good show, Dave. I've seen it every once in a while.
Rossi does a good job.
Even when he hauls out that 12-year-old video of yours truly, we'll forgive him for that.
1st and 10, UNO at their own 39-yard line. I formation, wide receivers left and right. Ed Thompson back to pass. And now he's going to run it around left end. Nice block over there.
Boy, Jake Young with crunching somebody over there. Let Thompson pick up about 5 yards there.
Just about 5 yards, 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 for Thompson.
He was looking for Yano Jones earlier on that play. Here we see some scores as Michigan moves into the lead on Ohio State, believe it or not, 10-9. The Buckeyes don't celebrate that national title just yet. Wow. And BYU leading Utah at the half 20-3.
2nd down now. 2nd and 6 for UNO at their own 43. I formation. Thompson trips again and loses a step and then gets hammered for a loss of about 2.
Dave, that completely broke the timing of that option play. He had Jeff Hertzina on the outside waiting for the pitch, and he just lost his footing a little bit, enabled Northwest Missouri to get in here. We see it again. There you see Thompson struggling today.
Maybe these are new shoes, huh?
I'm sure they use a little different type of shoe for this type of weather, so perhaps at halftime they'll make some adjustments and make some changes.
Okay, another big 3rd down for UNO. 3rd and 8 from their own 42. Wide receivers left. Thompson back to pass. Over the middle, and it's caught. And depending on the mark, oh, he got a real good mark.
Yeah, that should be a UNO first down. That was Jake Young. They're ruling him just past the 49-yard line. And there you see the type of footwear that is in style today here on this wet, slippery Caniglia field.
They look like regular shoes to me. Okay, first down, UNO. Big play. First, just short of the 50. 1st and 10 for UNO. And they're going to let the clock run out to the end of the first quarter.
And that is the end of the first quarter. The score right now is Northwest Missouri 10 and UNO nothing. More after this timeout.
Field where UNO is taking on Northwest Missouri State. They just announced the Ohio State-Michigan score, 10-9 Michigan in the 3rd quarter.
We have a lot of Michigan fans here today,
We sure
Dave.
do. UNO 1st and 10 from their own 50-yard line, now going into the wind. Let's see if the philosophy on offense changes any. Handoff inside to Curry. He bounces off one tackle and picks up 7 yards. So UNO will be faced with 2nd and 3.
Corey, who's run effectively here so far in this game, had several nice runs, and there's a nice typical Mickey Corey run. Nothing fancy, just straight ahead, blue collar, hard working.
That's a good stat. After the first hit, how many yards do you gain?
Wow, you got about 7 there.
Okay, 2nd and 3, I formation for UNO, wide receivers left and right. Thompson keeps, and he cuts it up. He's going to be close to the first down.
I think he's going to be just short, Dave, but
they're marking him just on the white line at the 40-yard line on the stripe. That might be a first down. Let's see.
It is.
By an inch.
Here's a look at it again. Thompson with just enough room to pick up that first down. They forced him inside, but end result is a first down for UNO.
They need this drive, Merlin. UNO does, to get back in this ball game. Northwest Missouri State playing flawless football so far, leading 10-0. 1st and 10 from the 40. I formation, wide receivers left and right for UNO. Curry and Hertzina in the backfield behind Thompson. Hand off to Hertzina, and he's hit and stopped after about a 2-yard gain.
Jeff Hertzina out of Columbus SCOTUS. A lot of high school soccer fans may remember him. He was an all-state player there for SCOTUS. Also a fine kicker in high school. Kicked about 8 field goals his senior year for the Shamrocks, I believe it is. And now he's running the football here at UNO. And there you see the wet footballs. They're trying to keep them as playable as possible here for this ball game.
They gain weight as they
sure do.
Gain water. 2nd and 8 for UNO from the 38 of Northwest Missouri State. Fake handoff. Thompson keeping, and he's going to throw now, and it's caught. Number 84 on the reception.
That's
Brian Benjamin, a freshman from Stockton, California. Nice play.
You know, the Mavs don't go to their tight end very much. In fact, they only have a couple of receptions this year. I'm not sure if this was Thompson's first option, but it turned out to be a good one as Benjamin made a fine catch. The Mavs are on the move inside the 20.
1st and 10 for UNO, just at the 19-yard line of Northwest Missouri State. Just into the 2nd quarter of play, Northwest Missouri leading 10-0. I formation, wide receivers left and right for UNO. Jake Young in motion. And a blitz. And inside handoff to Corey all the way down to the 7-yard line.
Mickey Corey once again finding the opening, running for daylight, and I believe that's a first down. It should be 1st and goal for the Mavs.
Northwest Missouri State blitzed on that play, and the ball carrier ran right past the blitzing back through the hole.
That's Twan Young, who had the unenviable task of trying to bring down Corey one-on-one.
Did a good job, though. 7-yard line, 1st and goal for UNO. Thompson, option to the 5, and he slips and falls at the 6-yard line.
For just a brief second there, Dave, I thought he was going to be able to cut back and get into the end zone. But he'll have to settle for about a 2-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd and goal for the Mavs.
I'll bet we see him change shoes at halftime, Murray.
Yeah, there's something going on there. He's usually very tough to knock off of his feet, and just hasn't been working for him thus far.
2nd and goal just outside the 6 for UNO. They got to come up with some points on this drive to get back into this ball game. Northwest Missouri State leading 10-0. Melvin McFall now in at I-back. He gets the ball inside, and he bounces it outside. He's going to score. Melvin McFall for 6 points, no flags. And UNO gets on the scoreboard.
The Mavs are on the board. That's Melvin McFall's 7th touchdown of the season. He's been quite a surprise for the Mavs out of Omaha. Flanagan, also an unknown, kind of like Jesse Haynes coming into the season. He turns out to be UNO's leading ball carrier. And the Maverick banner is waving once again here at Caniglia Field. Paul Cosell in to try the extra point.
Merlin, you take the difference. Northwest Missouri State, older team. UNO younger, but boy, there are a lot of comparisons. Ball's down, it's up, and it's good. And we got a 10-7 ball game. Northwest Missouri State still leading.
11:52 left to go in the 2nd quarter. We'll be right back with more from Caniglia Field.
We're back at Caniglia Field, 10-7. Northwest Missouri State leads. UNO just scored. They'll be kicking off into the wind for the first time.
So Paul Cosell gets that distinct pleasure of seeing if he can get it back into that end zone, but they're up on the 15 and 20-yard line to receive this one.
And he squibs it, bounces free, picked up at the 20-yard line. And he takes it all the way out to the 44-yard line. Let's see where they mark him in. 44-yard line. A great return there by Charlie Pugh, running back for Northwest Missouri State.
Let's go down to the sidelines to Ross Drinstrom for an interview.
Guys, I'm down here in the north end zone, and with me is Adam Wright and about 35 guys on the freshmen and sophomores on the football team. Only 52 could set up. Adam, what does it feel like being on the sidelines and watching this game?
It's great either way. I mean, the intensity out here is just great. It's the most excitement we had here at UNO, and it's a great feeling being down here in the back of the end zone supporting the team. All the red shirts over here.
All right, let's hear a cheer, guys.
That sounds like Ross having a good time. Northwest Missouri State with a handoff to Haynes, and he breaks outside and picks up 7 yards out to the 49-yard line of UNO.
They'd shut him down for a few plays, Dave, but I don't think you can do that for a whole game. Hard to believe that last week in the mud in Maryville, Northwest Missouri held to 4 first downs, but they've made up for it here today. Haynes setting him up for a good 2nd down and short yardage here.
You know, if you're going to lose a ball game or lose a ball game before the big ball games are played, and that kind of brought them back to reality and gave them a.
It sure did. I wonder if that would break their momentum, but they said it's all forgotten. It was a wake-up call, and it's working well so far for them.
2nd and 4 at the 49 of UNO. Handoff inside and pretty close to a first down there. Craig Evans, number 39, junior college transfer from Santa Cruz, California. And it is a first down for Northwest Missouri State. And they got the win with him now. They wouldn't be afraid to kick a fairly decent field goal if UNO's defense slows them down here.
There you see Evans, who is called their B-back. He doesn't get that many carries, but he took advantage of the situation there and picked up the first down. Evans, pretty good size, as you mentioned, about 220 pounds.
Okay, 1st and 10 at the just outside the 45 of UNO. Single back is Haynes, and he's going to get the ball inside, and he picks up about 4 yards to the 41-yard line.
Was Brian Holston one of the guys trying to hold up Jesse Haynes and keep him from carrying the ball, but wasn't able to hold him back that much.
It's tough to tackle somebody like that from up high. They got such great balance.
There you see some of the UNO cheerleaders trying to keep the Frozen faithful fired up here, Dave.
Keep them moving.
Still, considering the weather, a good crowd on the UNO side. Several thousand people here today at Caniglia Field on this 2nd down and 6 play.
Handoff back in the backfield to Haynes. He gets tripped up and still picks up 3 yards.
Cedric Welch making the tackle for the Mavs. Welch, of course, filling in for Marcellus Walker, who is out with the injury.
Brent Neben had him in the backfield, and Haynes, as he has so many times today, got away and made it a good game. There's 3rd and 2. And there's a Big 8 score for you, Merlin.
Big 12, Dave.
Big 12, sorry.
For the good old days. Kansas State and Iowa State, 7-3. And Troy Davis has gone over 2,000 yards for the season, we understand. So congratulations to him. Michigan still up on Ohio State in the 3rd quarter.
Okay, 3rd and 2 for Northwest Missouri State from the UNO 37. And they call a timeout. A little bit of a problem there for the Bearcats, so it's a timeout on the field. And once again, you see the nice crowd that UNO on the UNO side of the stadium here.
Just about 9 minutes left to go in this first half, and I know the fans are begging for running plays to keep that clock going. There was a collective cry when that timeout was called. No, keep the clock going.
The weather forecast for colder and colder and colder today.
Yeah.
Bob Hope's going to have his final special on NBC coming up Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Bob Hope laughing with the presidents.
He's about 90, what is it, 94 now, 93?
Years old?
Yeah. Performances by Huskers when he introduced his All-American team. They've been a load of laughs over the years. Bob Hope, a great guy, though, and it's amazing that he's still going strong in the entertainment industry, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of clips, a lot of memories from that one coming up.
Absolutely. Okay, we still have 3rd and 2 for Northwest Missouri State. Time is back in. This is an important play for Northwest Missouri State. Option outside, and Haynes has it. And he gets pretty close to the first down. I don't know if he got it or not, Murr.
He stayed in bounds, but we'll have to see what the officials rule. We're kind of blocked there by the sideline. Here we take a look at Teal. Wow, that was Alton Johnson, the outside linebacker, who forced that pitch probably a little quicker than Teal wanted. Ross Jernson standing by on the sidelines. Ross, what do you have?
I'll tell you what, Murr, I've got some excited young women down here. This is the UNO cheerleading squad, and with me is Christy Huff. Christy, the team captain. Tell me, how you girls keeping warm this afternoon down here?
It's really not that cold out here. If we were able to stay this close for the whole game, I think we'd be just fine, but we're not.
You keeping the crowd excited?
We sure are. We've got faith in them. They're going to come back. It's going to be a blowout, I promise.
All right, let's hear a cheer.
Let's go, man! Let's go, man!
All right,
okay.
Coach Churchmer there, who's going to tell his team to go for it here on 4th down. They were just short, and he sends in a play. They're at about just short of the 35-yard line. That's where they have to go. Less than a yard, Dave.
We thought Ross would be down there telling us what about the spot on the ball, and he had the cheerleaders, Merlin.
Yeah, Ross a little preoccupied. Of course, his wife was a cheerleader. She just called and says, don't do any more of those interviews, Ross.
Okay, big 4th down for Northwest Missouri State. They keep it on the ground, and Haynes goes up and over, and he's still not down.
I believe a whistle blew. They're whistling that play dead. But Haynes never stopped moving. And instead of a touchdown, he's going to have to settle for a 1st down.
Wow, dangerous play. You don't know if the players heard the whistle and just kind of stopped, or if they just didn't notice that he had bounced off the pile and was heading down the field. Either way, it's going to be a 1st down inside the 35-yard line for Northwest Missouri State. 1st and 10.
Haynes' season high this year was 216 yards against Emporia, and the way he's run here in the 1st half, he could be well on his way to another 200-yard game. The Mavs are going to have to bottle him up more than they have.
Haynes had 89 yards rushing in the 1st half, or 1st quarter, Merlin.
Nothing there.
And a fumble.
Jay Weininger forcing that fumble there. And for a brief second, it looked like the Mavs would get it. Titus trying to get in there with that one. Here's a look at that again. Haynes kind of bouncing, trying to get outside, and that ball is stripped away by Weininger. Very nice play. There comes Titus. But he could not fall on that ball.
Northwest Missouri State gets it back.
2nd down and 15, Dave. 7:33 left to go. Northwest Missouri leading 10-7 here in the 2nd quarter.
Shotgun formation. Teal's back, and he's going long toward the sidelines. Battling for the ball over there, Robert Brown.
Robert Brown on the coverage for UNO, and Chris Zeller going after them. That ball was just a little out of reach of both of them. That'll bring up 3rd and long, Dave. 3rd and 16.
Northwest Missouri State going with a fairly strong wind out of the north. Tough to throw a ball up on a lob play like that and be sure where it's going to come down. It was close, though. Another big 3rd down play for the Bearcats at the UNO 40-yard line. Four wide receivers. Single back is Haynes. Option, and Haynes is going to get the ball.
He's got some room.
He's outside. And they stop him at the 29-yard line, which is about 5 yards short of the 1st down.
Let's take a look at that again. Once again, these guys aren't afraid to run the option on long situations. And Haynes wasn't that far away, as we saw Mav go flying there. He wasn't that far away from getting that 1st down, but it's going to set up a 4th down situation. And we'll see if they go for the field goal here.
Nice block by Mark Survey for Northwest Missouri State to get him a couple of more yards.
The Bearcats want another timeout, Dave.
This is a tough decision. They've got 4th and about 5 from the 29. And we'll have that decision, whatever they decide,
okay,
when we come back.
We'll be right back.
Back at Caniglia Field, Northwest Missouri State has decided to go for it, at least on the surface. 4th and 5 from the UNO 29-yard line. Northwest Missouri State will go out of the shotgun. 2 backs, 3 wide receivers. They lead 10-7 in the ball game over UNO. And Teal is sacked for a loss.
Some good coverage downfield, Dave. Prevented Teal from unloading the ball. He just had to try to run for it. And several Mavs were in on that one. Damon Hansen
was in on the tackle.
He's the leading sacker on the team. He has 9 sacks this year, and he picked up another one right there. Here's Teal going to his left, looking downfield. Everybody's covered. And there's Hansen and a host of Maverick tacklers coming up to make the play. So the Mavs take over on their own 33 with 7:07 left to go. They'll have a 1st and 10. There's Damon Hansen, very excited.
Option left for Thompson. He's going to pitch it at the last second.
I don't think that play was around the way it was designed in the playbook, Dave. The timing looked a little bit off there. Herdzina didn't have the proper distance between him and Thompson. Thompson may have been forced to run it a little wider than he thought. And the end result is just a 1-yard gain for the Mavs.
Well, it's Thompson trying to get outside. He's having trouble with his footwork a little bit.
This is a solid front four, too, Dave.
Yeah.
They're big. They're all seniors. They're experienced. They've seen the option before. They're doing a good job of stopping it. And it's a 2nd and 9 now.
2nd and 9 for UNO. Thompson fakes the handoff. He's going to throw. He's got a man wide open over the middle. The ball is underthrown and incomplete.
Wow, Brian Benjamin was wide open, Dave, momentarily, but into that wind, Thompson might have thrown it just a little bit late. Let's take a look again. We can't see Benjamin downfield, but Thompson does. His eyes had a light up there. He unloads it, but it starts fluttering in that breeze. And in fact, it was almost intercepted by Northwest Missouri.
Good job of defense by Northwest Missouri State.
Pat Burns sending in another play, hopefully a first down play for the Mavs. They face a 3rd and 9 here. They need something.
Thompson back. He's going to throw. Now he's going to run it up the middle. He's got plenty of room. He's at the 50, the 45, the 40, and knocked out of bounds after losing the football. He's going to be marked at the just outside the 40-yard line of Northwest Missouri State.
Well, that's about a 29-yard run for Eddie Thompson. That is what makes him so dangerous. He's got a good arm, but he can also tuck it up and run. Last year he was a wide receiver, a starting wide receiver for the Mavs. Did so well there, and this year he started at quarterback. And boy, you talk about jump starting an offense. I don't know if that was the play that Pat Burns sent in, but it worked very well.
So UNO with a first down at their own 40-yard line, or at Northwest Missouri State's 40-yard line.
Just over 6 minutes to go here, Dave, in the 2nd quarter.
Bearcats lead 10-7. Inside handoff to Curry, and he's going to be stopped after a gain of about a yard.
Curry, the ball carrier.
So it'll be 2nd and 9 from the 39 of Northwest Missouri State. UNO going into the wind would have a much more difficult decision to go for a field goal of any length in this situation.
Dave, you know, the Mavs going to the tight end a couple times here maybe give us a little tendency for things to come. They haven't used him much this year. Maybe they see some openings with that guy, so let's look for that a little later in the game as well.
Okay, 2nd and 9, UNO. Thompson's going to throw. Dumps it to the left behind the receiver. That was Jeff Hertzina. And the ball thrown behind him. He had some room out there. We were watching that in the warm-ups, Merlin. The little passes in the flat were all kind of curving back toward the south because of the wind.
Yeah, the things you take for granted in a breeze like this just aren't happening for the Mavs. And so they face another 3rd and long. Maybe Eddie Thompson can come up with that patented scramble play.
3rd and 9 for UNO at the Northwest Missouri State 39-yard line. Thompson option right, pitches to McFall.
Wide open.
McFall bounces out of bounds at the 21-yard line.
Boy, that one worked very well for the Mavs. Melvin McFall, a big guy, saw the opening, and they had overmatched Northwest Missouri on that right side as far as numbers go. Here you see it. Nice block there, and that knocked out the Northwest Missouri linebacker Ken Gordon. And finally, deep in the secondary, it was Bobby Nelson who made the play for the Mavs.
Okay, first down for UNO at the 21-yard line.
Nice pitch by Eddie Thompson.
Great timing on that.
Back to live action here.
Thompson keeps the ball and takes it up back to the line of scrimmage, just inside the 21 maybe.
Thompson, the ball carrier.
Damon Doris on the stop there.
He'll set up a 2nd and about well, he didn't gain much on that play,
no,
Dave.
No.
2nd and about 9 or 10.
Okay, I formation. Corey McFall in the backfield. Wide receiver split left and right. Hand off to McFall inside, and he's down to the 10, the 7-yard line. Is Melvin McFall.
That was Malcolm LeBlanc saving a touchdown with that tackle there. Once again, not an easy task when McFall has a full head of steam. Some nice openings by the UNO offensive line, and watch LeBlanc. Uh-oh, I got to tackle him. And he brought him down inside the 10.
At the 8-yard line, 1st and goal for UNO. Single back, McFall once again, wide receivers left and right for the Mavericks. And McFall gets the ball again, bounces outside, and he's down at the 4-yard line.
You know, in talking to Melvin earlier this week, he says he's the type of back that likes to get into a rhythm, likes to get into the flow of things. And after struggling early in this game, it appears that Melvin has gotten into the flow and is making a contribution to the Maverick offense.
A big possession for UNO. Just 3:53 left in the first half. Northwest Missouri State leading 10-7.
Pat Burns calling the right plays right now. Let's see what he comes up with here.
2nd and goal from the 4. And it's Corey. Corey hit at the 3. Corey fighting his way down to the, they're going to mark him right at the 3-yard line.
Once again, that was Malcolm LeBlanc in on the play along with a host of other Bearcat tacklers. Some good blocking up front for a moment there, Dave. I thought he might be able to take that in, but boy, that pursuit came up quickly.
It closed real quick. LeBlanc, a senior from Kilgore, Texas, junior college. He's the team's 2nd leading tackler. 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line for UNO.
Just over 3 minutes there you see left here in the first half.
Single back again is McFall. And we got an offsides or illegal procedure, one of the two. I think it's going to go against the Mavs.
Northwest Missouri signaling against the Mavs. Let's see what the referee says. That's Dwight Needling. And that's illegal procedure. And so, boy, that is really costly, Dave. The difference between 3rd and goal from the 3 and 3rd and goal from the 8 is huge.
3rd and goal.
So let's see what the Mavs come up with here as McFall is the single back.
3 wide receivers for UNO, 2 on the right, 1 on the left. Thompson back. He's going to throw in the corner of the end zone. And it's caught, and it's a touchdown. UNO. Yano Jones. A nice little alley-oop from Thompson to Yano Jones in the corner of the end zone. He makes the play, and UNO has taken the lead over Northwest Missouri State, 13-10. Waiting for the point after try. Nice timing play.
Yeah, the Mavs, just as I had said, that put them in a tough position. They came up with the play that they needed. Pat Burns really enjoying the moment there. Paul Cosell will come in now to try to put the Mavs up 14-10. Whoa.
Cosell hits the post and goes through. Well, when things are going good, they're going good.
Kicking always an adventure with Paul. But he did it well enough to get a point on the board for the Mavs, and we're going to go to a break now with 2:37 left to go in the first half. UNO leading 14-10 over Northwest Missouri State. Back in a moment.
Back at Caniglia Field, 2:37 left in the first half. UNO has scored and taken a 14-10 lead over Northwest Missouri State. The Mavericks kicking off into the wind. Paul Cosell putting the foot to it now. The momentum has really swung around. Northwest Missouri State with a 10-0 lead. There's the kick, another driving kick, bouncing along the ground, rolling back at the 10-yard line. Now picked up by Northwest Missouri State. And he's got an opening down the sideline. One guy back. Oh, one defender back. That was number 1, Charlie Pugh, making the tackle for UNO.
And look at the scores, Dave. Who would have thunk it? Well, you did, maybe. Michigan 13. Michigan 13 and Ohio State 9. Goodbye national championship for the Buckeyes.
We have an injured player down on the field for UNO, the man that made that tackle.
Paul Cosell, the kicker, it appears, is down there. And he's really struggling right now. They just announced the Ohio State score. They just announced it, and the fans went crazy here because, of course, most people here are Husker fans, and that keeps the door open for Nebraska and their national championship hopes. And there has to be heartbreak in Columbus today, as I think everybody thought this was the Buckeyes' year. I did. Dave Weber, though, yesterday on the radio predicted that the Buckeyes would win.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
And I'm sure he'll be letting us know about that prediction. I think John Chapman did too.
There's an update on the weather, Myrtle. We might want to mention that this freezing. A drizzle's going to be freezing and changing to snow as the afternoon wears on, it says.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada. Great weather the last couple weeks.
Man, that's too bad, especially for the fans that are going to be going back to Maryville tonight. And that road, Highway 136 out of Rockport to Maryville, is a narrow, twisty road. And so you folks especially be careful if somehow you learn about these conditions.
Absolutely. They're still attending to Paul Kozel on the sideline there. The kicker, the last one to make the play for UNO, the last one with a chance, and he made the play. But he took a knee pretty hard there when he...
Let's take a look at that. This is Charlie Pugh, who saw the opening on the sidelines. And I believe that was Cosell that came flying in there trying to make the tackle. And they are still gathered around him on the sidelines.
Let's go to Ross on the sideline, see if we can find out what's going on. Rossi?
That's right. It's Paul Kozel. He made the tackle on the kickoff return right along the sidelines. He was unconscious. That's why they're being a little cautious down there along there. He is alert, though. He has his eyes open. I just think they're taking him just a little bit carefully right now. They're not moving him right now, but he was unconscious when he made the tackle. So that's what the story is right down here on the sidelines.
All right, thanks a lot,
Thanks, Ross.
Well, that would be a tough blow for the Mavs. I'm not even sure who their second kicker would be, although Herdzina, as we mentioned, has a lot of experience in high school. But Paul Kozel is the guy they've gone with all year long. There's Pat Burns. I'm talking with referee Dwight Niebling, and a lot of concern there for the kicker. Kickers aren't supposed to get hurt, but Paul likes to get dirty out there.
He's up. Kozel is up and walking around, shaking his head a little bit, trying to get the cobwebs out.
All right, well, now back to action with the Northwest Missouri having a 1st and 10 at their 39, 2:31 left to go here in the first half. Dave?
Okay, I formation for Northwest Missouri State. Teal on the option, finally tosses it to Haynes. He's got some room outside, and he's going to pick up about 4 yards.
Boy, I'm sorry, Dave. Hansen for UNO really made that play for the Mav defense. He forced Teal to make that pitch early. Here we see him coming in for there. He forces him to make that decision. He plays off that blocker. Haynes does pick up a few yards with it, but it could have been a lot bigger gain if he was able to string that out a little more. There's Paul Cosell, who's going to the locker room early, and they're going to check him out. Hopefully he'll be able to come back here for the Mavs in the second half. It's 2nd down and 6 now for Northwest Missouri, Dave.
Okay, shotgun, and it's a straight running play by Teal, and he's hammered at the 45-yard line.
He took a shot from Alton Johnson, who has been seeing a lot of playing time today, Dave, because of the injuries to the UNO linebackers. Johnson is a senior, and we'll see this play here. Teal, it looked like a design play, and Johnson played off his blocker and laid the wood on Greg Teal there. That'll bring up 3rd and 4.
They don't let him use wood anymore, Murr.
Oh, sorry like that.
Okay, 3rd and 4 for Northwest Missouri State, going with the wind in the closing moments of the first half here. Shotgun formation. And Teal's going to throw it. No, now he's going to keep it. Now he's going outside, and now he's going down.
Alton Johnson once again coming in, and Ben Titus came up from the secondary once he started scrambling. But Johnson really making his presence felt here on this series. There you see Teal dropping back. Good coverage deep. And the pocket just collapses. Johnson chasing after him. Titus comes up, and I know we can't say it, Dave, but he laid the wood to the guy, too.
Yes, that might have been the time to throw that ball away. Teal chose to keep it and lost about 6 yards. So it's going to be 4th and almost 10-yard line, 10 yards from their own 40 for the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. About a minute left in this first half of play. This is perfect weather for skating, Merlin.
And here you have a new stat, Dave. The UNO saccometer, and we're up to 3 right now.
Okay. Yeah, this is a punt. Northwest Missouri State punting now from their own. They get the ball off at about his own 30-yard line with the wind. A minute left in the first half. UNO leading 14-10. Snap is back, and the kick is away. Moving kick.
It's Jake Young back there.
And Jake Young lets it go into the end zone. That almost went 70 yards on the fly. Great kick there for Northwest Missouri State. Shane Gladwin. So UNO is going to get the ball with about a minute left in the first half at their own 20-yard line, going into the wind. And what do you do now, Murr? Just kind of run the clock, or
I was
what?
just going to ask you that. You know, with when you're going into the wind, I don't know if you want to throw the ball. We've seen a couple flutter balls from Ed trying to get deep into this wind, but
you sure don't want to turn it over.
They might go with that option there. That's worked pretty well for them so far.
UNO with 2 timeouts left. Northwest Missouri State with 1. Heard Zena in the ball game with Curry. And this is Curry up the middle for about 9 yards. And that middle opened up again, Merlin.
Mickey Corey, who is from Bryan High School, fine fullback there for them and doing it here for the Mavs. He's coming off the field. Corey, rugged player, missed a couple games in the middle of the season with some cracks in his vertebrae, but he's back now. And running well today with as the clock continues to run, Dave, we're down to about 25 seconds, so the Mavs seem content here to go into the locker room 14-10 leaders.
Hand off to McFall. McFall breaks it up the middle and goes to about the 38-yard line of UNO. About a 10-yard pickup.
Down at about 12 seconds now, Dave. The clock will stop as they move the chains and then pick up again. And now we have a timeout on the field. Perhaps the Mavs will try to give it a shot here and air it out down the field. There's a replay of McFall breaking up the middle for the Mavs.
Boy, he's running well inside. He said when he got his rhythm, he liked to run a lot and run hard, and the inside seems to be opening up for the Mavericks, where the outside has worked for Northwest Missouri State.
Ross Sternstrom standing by on the sidelines during this timeout. Ross, what do you have?
I've got Marcellus Walker down here with me. He's on the sidelines, injured out for the season, but how's this defense playing in the second quarter here?
Oh, they're coming up big. I mean, all of our linebackers are coming up making some big plays now. I mean, that first score, I think, actually was just a misassignment. After that, I don't think they've gotten much. We look like we're playing pretty solid defense, though.
How's it feel on the sideline? It's got to be tough for you.
It's tough, but I know they can do it without me, and they're doing it now, so I'm nothing but proud of them. So it just makes me feel better to see them getting the job done, even with me, myself, and Demetrius out and some other players. So it feels good still.
All right, Marcellus, good luck to you the rest of the year. All right, Marcellus Walker, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ross. We got about 12 seconds left. It's 1st and 10 for the Mavs at their own 38. We're coming out of a timeout situation. Let's see if they try to put it in the air. Dave?
I don't know what you do. You throw it long. You got 60 yards to go into the wind. And they're going to pass it. Thompson's back. Now he's going to run it to the right and throw it up the middle, and it's over the head of the intended receiver, Jake Young. Incomplete at about the 40-yard line.
It leaves about 5 seconds to go, Dave, and you have another chance to go downfield. But you're really into this wind. A Hail Mary will go about 20 or 30 yards short. So I'm not sure what their options are. Their kicker has gone into the locker room for the half, so you can't really hope to get in field goal range at this point in time.
Thompson went down pretty hard after that ball was thrown. And so it's going to be 2nd down.
2nd and 10, Dave.
But only 5 seconds left to go. So this will be the final play of the first half, barring a penalty on the defense. And they've got McFall in the backfield and 3 wide receivers out. And McFall gets the ball, tries up the middle, and is stopped. And that's going to be the final play of the first half. UNO leading Northwest Missouri State 14-10 after 1 half of play. Let's go down to the sideline now.
We're hoping that Ross Sternstrom can get Pat Burns. And Ross, let's go to you right now.
Head coach Pat Burns. Pat, quite a turnaround there after you fell behind 10-0. What happened?
Well, it's a little scary right now at that particular point, but I think our guys are coming back, fighting back very well. You know, we gave up that big play on the option. That running back's a good running back, and we're going to have to contain him in the second half and just keep hanging on to the ball on offense.
It seems like you're moving the ball on them, though, there in the second quarter. You think you can continue that in the second half?
Well, we're going to have to, because this is one of those games that anything can happen. We got to minimize the turnovers, make sure we run the football and hang on to it, no question.
All right, good luck in the second half, Pat.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure.
All right, back to you guys. UNO leads 14-10.
Thanks, Ross. UNO leading Northwest Missouri State 14-10 right now at the end of the first half. We'll be back with our halftime right after this. We're back at Caniglia Field, where the UNO Mavericks have scored twice and taking a 14-10 lead over Northwest Missouri State at halftime of this Division II playoff game. Merlin?
And a lot of the fans are heading underneath the stands to warm up, get some hot chocolate and coffee. And the guy who's been eating and drinking all afternoon is standing by in our Channel 6 studios. He's been watching the Notre Dame game and monitoring a lot of other college football.
We're at halftime of the NCAA Division II playoff game between your University of Nebraska at Omaha Mavericks and Northwest Missouri State. The score at the break, 14-10, UNO on top. Here's how it happened. Pat Burns had hoped his Mavs would get off to a good start against Northwest Missouri, but it didn't happen. On the first series, the Cats' Jesse Haynes on the pitch right. Look at the great blocking on the line. Mav bodies laying all over the field, and he's gone. 70 yards for the touchdown as the Bearcats take a quick 7-0 lead over the Mavericks. It didn't get any better for UNO. Mickey Corey will fumble on the Mavs' first offensive play, and the Cats are on the doorstep again. The UNO defense holds, and the Bearcats have to settle for a field goal. It just barely makes it as UNO falls behind 10-0. Well, the Mav offense showed sparks of life. Corey atones for his fumble with the great run on the trap play. Corey carrying a defender to the 15-yard line. But the drive stalls, and Paul Kosel's field goal is wide left as the first quarter ends and UNO trails 10-0. Mavs mount another drive in the second quarter, capped by this 6-yard run by Melvin McFall. UNO is on the board, trailing the Cats 10-7. The Cats on the move again, facing a 4th and 5 at the Mav 29-yard line. Greg Teal on the roll to the left. He's stopped by Damon Hanson and a host of Mav defenders. UNO takes over. Mav quarterback Ed Thompson finally gets on track as he breaks loose down the left side for a big 29-yard pickup.
He's at the 50, the 45, the 40, and knocked out of bounds after jump.
Now that leads to the Mavs taking the lead on this 8-yard pass from Thompson to Yano Jones for 14-10 halftime lead. UNO on top right now, 14-10 at the break. We'll call a timeout right now. We'll be back. Hey, that's the halftime report from the Sports Center. Now let's go back to Caniglia Field. Check out Merlin Klaus.
Thanks a lot, John. Good report there at halftime. Here we are. You see a lot of fans have gone in for some hot chocolate and whatnot. About 3 minutes left here before the start of the second half. And here's some first half stats. And you see the running backs had their way today. 148 yards rushing for Northwest Missouri State. UNO with 168. 0 passing yards for the Bearcats. 0 for 7 passing. And it was UNO with 43 yards. 148, 211 total yards. Fumbles, 1 for Northwest Missouri, 2 for UNO. First downs, the Mavs have the edge there, 12-6. And they have the edge in the score, 14-10. Northwest Missouri, of course, scoring that opening touchdown with Jesse Haynes making the 70-yard run, and the Mavs have shut them down pretty well since then. Haynes, a one-man show. He has 155 yards rushing, and the rest of the team has come up with -7. So the score right now is 14-10. We'll be back with more action from Caniglia Field right after this timeout.
UNO coming back on the field for the second half of our playoff game between Northwest Missouri State and Nebraska Omaha. UNO leading 14-10. Let's go to Ross Stjernstrom on the sideline. Ross?
Well, Coach Stjernstrom just came out of that warm locker room, back out here for the second half. What adjustments, or if any, did you make there at halftime?
Well, I don't think we had to make a whole lot of adjustments. It's been a good football game. We just have to do a little better job of tackling. The fullback has hurt us on defense, and offensively we've kind of killed ourselves. So, you know, it's just a matter of going out and executing to do things right.
What are you going to try to do here in the second half? I mean,
well, obviously we got to establish some momentum right here in the third quarter. We've got the wind at our back, and we've got to get this thing turned around right now, or you know, it could be a long fourth quarter.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Stjernstrom, back to you.
Okay, Ross, thank you for that report. UNO leading 14-10. The momentum in the ball game, Merlin, switched. You could kind of feel it. UNO had that one drive, scored the touchdown, and then came back and scored again and took the lead. And especially on a cold day like that, you get that momentum and that confidence going. It can make a big change in the ballgame.
You know, we looked at the stats earlier, and a telling stat was Teal being 0 of 7 passing. He is an integral part of their offense. He's thrown for 18 touchdowns this year. Hits usually about 54%. One of the all-time leading passers there at the school. And for him not to be able to score right now or be able to do anything is a big chunk out of that offense. And Haynes has been it for them thus far. And I think although he's been a big part of that, 155 yards rushing.
I see the fans are coming back for the game too. They hide under the bleachers and get warm after the freezing drizzle that's blowing on everybody.
God bless them, you know, for being out here today. It's a miserable day at Caniglia Field, and we're glad that we're able to televise this game both to Omaha fans and down to Maryville, Northwest Missouri fans. And we understand that Paul Cosell, the kicker, is probably gone for the half. And we'll have more on, Ross will have more on that a little bit later, but the Mavs dancing to keep warm there. That's Marte Jenkins. Jamming to the music of his mind, I think.
Something's inside his helmet.
You got to do something to keep warm here, and he's back deep to receive the kickoff here in the second half. That's Purnell, Dave Purnell, setting up and ready to go. And I'm sure he's looking forward to being able to boot this thing with the wind and seeing what he can do in that situation.
Okay, the wind with Northwest Missouri State for this third quarter, and as their coach said, they got to get something going in this third quarter because fourth quarter they'll be going against the wind. It'll be very difficult to come up with any kind of field goal unless it's very short. UNO with its own field goal problems. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the kickoff. Dave Purnell kicking off to UNO. Deep for the Mavericks. Jake Young. And it's a short kick taken on the 5-yard line by Young. Marte Jenkins. He breaks clear. He's out to the 28-yard line. Marte Jenkins on the return.
And Brian Sutton made the tackle there, or Jenkins might have been gone, and he is so dangerous, and that's one of the key aspects of the UNO offense. Jenkins kind of let that one bounce and then saw the opening. Pat Davis screening right there with a nice block, and there is
nice tackle.
Brian Sutton with a tackle. He's also from Maryville, Missouri, a sophomore defensive back. So Ed Thompson brings the team up. As we start the second half, the Mavs are leading 14-10.
UNO in the I formation. Now they switch out of it with a single back. Two wide receivers to the right. It's a fake handoff on the inside. Thompson throwing across the middle and caught by Jake Young. It's not a first down, but it's a gain of 8 yards. Nice pass across the middle. Thompson to Young. 2nd and 2 for UNO going into the wind.
Dave, I really like that call on first down here in the third quarter going into the wind. It establishes that, hey, we're not just going to sit on the ball. We're not just going to run it. You have to worry about the throw. And the Mavs have a 2nd and short situation, which you can do a lot of different things out of.
Okay, 2nd down and 2. I formation. Wide receivers left and right. Thompson with the ball. Hands off to McFall. And he picks up. Looked like he picked. Now they're going to give him a little short spot, and it's not going to be a first down. If it is, it's real close. Are they going to call for a measurement or not? Now they're going to call third down. There's the replay.
He actually lost the ball, but Ross Jernstrom is standing by down on the field. Ross?
Paul Cosell had a concussion. He is questionable for the second half, so that means either Tate or Herdzina will do the place kicking, but that's still up in the air right now. Back to you.
Thanks, Ross.
3rd and 1, Dave.
3rd and a couple of inches at the 39-yard line, and Thompson sneaks for it and looks like he has it. They're going to spot him just short of the 45-yard line.
Bearcats weren't giving up much there, but the Mavs didn't have that far to go. And so to get a good drive going here will be really essential for UNO because as the weather conditions perhaps deteriorate here, it gets colder and windier. It's going to be tougher to move the ball, and if the Mavs can run some time off that clock and pick up some yards in the process, that's going to be a bonus for them for the first down at the 45.
I saw some ice on the backs of some parkas down there, Murph.
Oh, man.
So it's freezing down there. 1st and 10 for UNO at their own 45. I formation. Fake handoff and a pass out in the flat. Caught. Jake Young with a gain of 8 yards. Out to the 48-yard line of Northwest Missouri State.
And I don't know if the Mav coaches saw something, but twice they've come out with short passes to Jake Young inside the coverage. And both of them work for about 8-yard gains.
So it'll bring a 2nd and 2 for UNO heading into the wind. Early in the third quarter of play, UNO leads this ball game 14-10 over Northwest Missouri State. Northwest Missouri State jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Option left for Thompson, and he is passing it off. Jeff Herdzina on the carry, and he's very close to a first down. Pickup of about 2 yards.
That was a nice play by Herdzina because the Bearcat defense had forced Thompson. Look at the pressure there. They had forced him much deeper than he normally liked to go on that. But he stopped, waited for the pursuit to overrun him, then cut up field. And they're going to have to measure on this one, Dave.
You got to be sure as the running back that you stay behind the quarterback, at least laterally, so it's not a forward lateral.
Yeah, their spacing has been not the best at times, but that one worked out for UNO's advantage.
And it's going to be about 6 inches short, so it'll be 3rd and a half a foot, almost to the 45-yard line of Northwest Missouri State.
Coach Burns sends in the play now. Another key 3rd down play for the Mavs as they try to keep this this drive alive. They've already run off 2.5 minutes off the clock. 12:23 left here in the 3rd quarter. Eddie Thompson ready with his team to come up with the play as the chain gang leaves the field. They have it just inside the 46-yard line of Northwest Missouri.
Okay, they're out of the huddle. I formation. Curry and Herdzina in the backfield with Thompson. And we're going to have a flag there.
It looked like encroachment. We don't know if any UNO players moved on that play. It looks like they picked up the 1st down either way.
Bearcats trying to get a little jump on the snap there, and they got caught in the neutral zone. We'll see what the call is.
And there it is. Yep. Encroachment on Northwest Missouri.
Well, when you're only trying to get 6 inches, you know that the surge of the line, you got to do something to try to disrupt that. And they tried to do a little too much. So it'll be 1st and 10 for UNO. The ball at the 41-yard line of the Bearcats, just inside the 41.
The Mavs have a good little drive going here, and they're not trying to do anything fancy right now. They're just content. It seems like they're very content with going with what Northwest Missouri will give them offensively. Let's see if they pass again on 1st down.
It's a handoff to Herdzina. Herdzina is still on his feet. He could go all the way. He's down to the 12-yard line. Nice run by Jeff Herdzina.
We may also see action kicking the extra point if the Mavs score here because of Paul Cosell's injury. But, man, that was a nice play for the Mavs. They've been mixing up very nicely. Here's another look from our end zone view. A big bottleneck, and Herdzina once again cuts back against the grain. Gets a little help from the official. The 12th man, we call it here at Caniglia Field.
He got forced out of bounds there. Nice play by the Northwest Missouri State defender.
And Northwest Missouri fans can't complain about the officiating today because the officials are from their conference, so I'm sure that was unintentional. But nice run.
Malcolm LeBlanc forced him out of bounds. All the way down at the...
Well, they're moving it to the 6-yard line. There was a penalty call on there, so they attack on another 5 yards. And the Mavs are knocking on the door, Dave. 1st and goal at the 5.
1st and goal for UNO. I formation. McFall and Curry. Now they shift out of it. McFall with the ball. Inside, and he's down to the, looks like the 1-yard line, maybe the 1-foot line. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 1 for UNO.
Dave, I'm really impressed with this offensive line. Look at the surge. Northwest Missouri bodies flying backwards, going down. That's great goal line offense there. And unless something major happens here, the Mavs should carry this one right on in. 2nd down and goal from the 1.
I formation once again. Thompson keeps. And
a couple of UNO guys were signaling touchdown, but the refs have not, and I think he is still short of that. Let's see where they place the ball. That's going to be awfully close.
Just inside, actually, yeah. Actually, he didn't pick up much at all.
Really.
So it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 1.
Well, the Mavs need a surge similar to the one they had on 1st and goal, because that time Northwest Missouri really withstood the challenge and came up with a nice play.
There's inside to Curry, and he scores. Nice handoff, very deceptive. And Mickey Curry for the touchdown from the 1.
All right, the Mavs taking the lead. Well, they're actually building their lead now. That makes it 20-10. 20-10. And let's see who kicks the extra point. That is Herdzina. Here's a look at that again. Mickey Corey right up the middle. Goes in there standing. And Jeff Herdzina in place of Paul Cosell is now in to try the extra point.
And he puts it through. You got to think Herdzina, all-state soccer player in high school, has a pretty good foot, and he probably gets as much reps as Cosell does during practice. Okay, we got a 21-10 score. UNO leading with 10:42 left in the third quarter of play here at Caniglia Field, and we'll be right back. 21-10, UNO leading Northwest Missouri State here at Caniglia Field. 10:42 left in the third quarter, and UNO about to kick off. Jeff Herdzina will be kicking off to UNO because of an injury to their normal kicker. Suffered a concussion and will not be back in the second half. So Herdzina will be kicking off into the wind, and he kind of chips it down to about the 20-yard line. Taken there by Mark Survey, and he is outside and not down yet. Down to the 40-yard line. Let's go to Ross. He's down in the end zone there. Rossi?
I tell you what, guys, it is loud down here in the end zone. This is the 12th man on this UNO football team. These guys are taunting the other team, Northwest Missouri State, through the touchdown, and they have really caused a lot of havoc on that defense down here in the end zone, and you can hear just how loud they are. Back to you.
Thanks, Rossi. Don't get a headache down there now.
Rossi was so loud we couldn't hear you. But actually there's a penalty, a personal foul now, unfortunately, on the Mavs, and that's going to move Northwest Missouri into UNO territory. So the Bearcats will start off in very good shape here. Their offense had to sit on the sidelines and watch as UNO drove down the field, took off almost 5 minutes off the clock, and took a 21-10 lead. And Northwest Missouri, since that first quarter, really hasn't done much offensively. And there comes Teal in to see if he can get the offense going. Kansas State leading Iowa State to 28-10, and there's the big shocker. Michigan State over Ohio State 13-9. Dave?
Shocker to some, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Single back for Northwest Missouri. Fake handoff by Teal. He's back to pass over the middle, and it's tipped, almost intercepted. Almost intercepted by Pat Davis, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for UNO.
Davis had 8 interceptions last year, led the nation in that, and so he knows how to do it. This time, just unable to, but the Bearcats came out throwing, and Survey was there, but Davis playing that defense nicely and making the play to break it up.
Almost had that one. Ben Titus with the coverage on Survey.
And, you know, actually that is his 20th pass broken up this season, which is a new UNO record.
Oh, great.
So if you don't get the interception, at least you get a PBU.
2nd and 10 from the UNO 39 for Northwest Missouri State. Shotgun. And he's going to be taken down by number 76, Brian Holston.
Holston, what a load he is. 5'11", 310 pounds, and the senior has played so well. He's kind of like Jesse Haynes in that he took a couple years off, academic problems, and came back this season. They didn't know what to expect, but he is back at full strength. And Northwest Missouri really in trouble now. They've tried passing the first 2 plays here, and they face a third, and the scoreboard says 19. 3rd and 19. There's Holston breaking through.
3rd and 19 at the 47-yard line of the Bearcats. Going in the wrong direction. Shotgun now. Going long down the sidelines, and no interference.
Jason Melnick was knocked down, tangled up there, but I don't know if he would have gotten the ball either way. Melnick gets up limping, and the Bearcats are going to have to leave the field. The UNO defense holds with 9:38 left to go here in the third quarter. The Mavericks are up 21-10. And the Bearcats are going to have to kick the football.
That was Robert Brown on the coverage there.
Some more scores for you, Dave. 27-10 North Carolina over Duke. That's a final score.
And Syracuse beating Temple. Northwest Missouri State with a punt. Get it off at their own 35-yard line. And it's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 19 of UNO. So it'll be Mavericks ball, 1st and 10 at their own 19. They lead 21-10 in the second quarter, or third quarter, with 9:28 left. We'll be back with more football right after this. Back at Caniglia Field, the UNO Mavericks with the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 19-yard line. They're a very happy UNO cheerleader. The Mavericks leading 21-10 in this ball game with Northwest Missouri State. I formation, wide receivers left and right for Ed Thompson. And yeah, that's the wrong way to run, Melvin. Melvin McFall with the ball. Got stopped in the backfield and kind of turned around and went down for a loss of about 5.
Dave, you know, for a second I thought that was Walter Brennan on play-by-play. Just give us a little.
Well, no brag, just fact. That's Maroulin. All right, 2nd and 15 for UNO.
Yeah, let's see Dick Enberg do that.
2nd and 15, wide receivers left for the Mavericks. And another handoff. This time, right up the middle, Hertzina. That was a nice, about a 9-yard gain. But it's still going to be 3rd and 8.
Hertzina doesn't mess around when he runs. He's kind of a north-south guy, just kind of waits for the opening and heads right up the field. That'll set up 3rd and 7 for the Mavs, Dave, on their own, or 3rd and 6 for the Mavs.
Well, when that play breaks up the middle, the blocking is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, the offensive line is really taking control here in this middle part of the game.
Okay, 3rd and 6 from their own 23. UNO with a single back. 3 wide receivers. And they're going to run for it. And it's Hertzina again.
He's got the first down.
Pops it. Good hard running by Jeff Hertzina, sophomore from Columbus SCOTUS.
And this script, Dave, for UNO has to be exactly what Pat Burns wanted and what Mel Churchma did not want. I know he wanted to get the ball. Mel did and control the ball and get some yards. It hasn't happened for them. Instead, it's the Mavericks who are running time off the clock and taking it down the field for another first down.
Okay, 1st and 10 at their own 30. And off to Hertzina once again, and he breaks free for another 4 or 5 yard gain.
Yeah, the Mavericks have really had the balanced running attack, Dave. Corey, Thompson, McFall, and here's Hertzina, who has played his part as well. All of them had at least 50 yards in the first half rushing, and so Northwest Missouri can't key on anybody. And it seems like who was ever getting called on is doing the job, and the Mavs have a 2nd and 5, so they can work with that type of number 2. 44 yards for Jeff Hertzina rushing today. Good job for him.
High formation once again. Thompson fakes the handoff this time and throws, and the receiver slipped down.
That was Jake Young out there.
You know, you got to, if there was ice on the Parkers, Merlin, you know there's ice forming out there on the field too, and it's going to get just slipperier and slipperier as it gets colder.
It is it's a beautiful turf here, relatively new and aesthetically pleasing. It's the prettiest turf I've seen in a long time. But today it is not exactly a fast track.
Okay, 3rd and 5 now from their own 35-yard line for the Mavericks. Thompson fakes the pass and run with McFall with the ball, and he is brought down in the backfield again.
That was Jason Smith, the linebacker, junior linebacker, coming in and making the stop. And let's take a look at that. McFall on the draw play here and tries to break outside, but boy, Smith had that one smelled out.
Nice play by Smith.
He was right there to meet him. That sets up a 4th and 8 situation, Dave.
Okay, punting into the wind now.
It's Borrell, Mike Borrell.
Mike Borrell punting into the wind. Gets it away off the side of his foot and bouncing a UNO bounce. And it goes down to the 45-yard line of Northwest Missouri State.
That was actually dangerous for Northwest Missouri, and that ball almost came back, bounced to hit him. But we'll be back with more action here from Coniglia Field. It's 21-10 UNO, 6:36 left to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll be right back.
So Northwest Missouri State in good field position, trying to pick up some points. They trail 21-10 to the UNO Mavericks in this first-round NCAA Division II playoff game here at Coniglia Field in Omaha. Single back for Northwest Missouri State. And option left, and Teal's going to keep it and go down after about a yard gain. Make it 2. So it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Bearcats.
Dave, far be it for me to act as a coach here, but I think that's smart to go to that option play. That worked so well for them in the first half with Haynes running long, and as we see the winter advisory continuing through our area, so that's something to pay attention to besides this football game. A lot more important things in life than football, believe it or not. But right now, 2nd and 8 for Northwest Missouri from the UNO 47.
Okay, handoff inside to Haynes, and they got him for a loss. Back to the original line of scrimmage.
That was Cedric Welch, who once again is getting a lot of playing time today because of linebacker injuries, and he is ready for Haynes, and that shows you how much I know about coaching, Dave. Stick with the run, guys.
Hey, we do know, Merlin, that it is going to get colder and colder today as the day goes on.
Yeah.
With more moisture, and so be very, very careful if you go out today. And of course, if you're listening to us, you're probably not here at the game, so
so yeah.
So just be careful.
3rd and 10, Dave.
3rd and 10 from the UNO 48-yard line for the Bearcats. Out of the shotgun, Teal's back and thrown over the middle, and it's caught. There's a first down and more. All the way down, Mark Survey down to the 28-yard line of the Mavericks.
And looking at some of their highlight tapes, Dave, this is a play they like quite a bit. Survey is quick, very much like the receivers that Miami had a couple years ago against Nebraska. He takes it over the middle and knows what to do with it afterwards. Survey, a 5'8", 170-pound senior. Not very large, but he's very quick, and that's a good gain for the Bearcats.
Jeff Jamrog irritated there. Nobody home over the middle that time. Option left for Northwest Missouri State. Haynes has it, and he is knocked out of bounds at right around the 25-yard line, which would make it 2nd and 7 for the Bearcats. They're going with the wind, so if they can get it down in a reasonable distance here, they can go for 3.
Nate Sullivan tried to make that play and almost had a loss there for the Mavs, but Haynes shifted outside and picked up a few yards on the play. He had 155 yards rushing in the first half and hasn't had much room here in the second half.
Okay, 2nd and 7 from the UNO 24-yard line for the Bearcats. And the pass out in the flat, intercepted, and then dropped.
Nate Sullivan almost with the pick, Dave, and you saw Teal as he went back, his foot slipped. I don't know if that was any reason for this. Let's take a look. There you see him dropping back, tries to set, slips a little bit, and fires it out here. And Sullivan had that read perfectly, did everything but make the interception.
Teal is breathing a sigh of relief. There should be a column, breaks, good breaks and bad breaks.
Yeah.
That was a good break for Northwest Missouri State. That makes it 3rd and 7 from just inside the 25-yard line of UNO. Shotgun again. This time, he wanted to throw that little shuttle pass, and it was covered. So Teal eats the ball all the way back at the 32-yard line of the Mavericks.
That's Damon Hansen again, who has been in that backfield quite a bit today. And you're right. I think he did want to try that shovel pass. We have a penalty call. We have a face mask on the Mavs.
On the Mavs.
So we'll see if that's going to be enough for a first down. It looks like it's a big one. Yeah, they're taking it 15.
It's not quite a first down on the sticks, but we'll see what the rest of the call is here.
I believe it's going to be 4th down.
4th down and 2. Boy, that's a huge play.
Yeah, the Mavs had them stop there. Here's a look at it again. I don't know if we can see the face mask, but there it is right there.
Yeah. They had Teal back there, didn't need it, but face mask called, and it's 3rd down and 2 from the 20-yard line, just inside the 20. New life for the Bearcats. Single back is Haynes. He's going to get the ball inside, and he's got the first down as he stretches it up to just past the 23-yard line, or the 17-yard line.
Dave, you talked about that breaks category. What a huge break for the Bearcats there. That's something they really needed. And Mel Churchma maybe feels a little life coming back to his team, because that's the type of play that really shifts the momentum in a game like this. Nothing was working. Nothing was going well. The Mavs had come up with a big defensive play, and here they are knocking on the door. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line for Northwest Missouri.
Single back is Haynes. Wide receivers split way left and right. Teal back to pass, and he floats it into the end zone. That's going to be a touchdown. Northwest Missouri State touchdown. Teal to Matt Becker. 17 yards. Beautiful play. And that cuts into the UNO lead. Now it's 21-16 with the Bearcats going for the extra point. We'll see what they do. Yeah, they're making a decision here whether to go for 1 or 2. It looks like Teal staying in. Maybe they're going for Toomer.
All right, that would put them within field goal range. And that's really not a bad decision here.
That's what they're doing. Northwest Missouri State going for 2. And Teal keeps the ball. And he
passes incomplete.
Yeah, pass incomplete. Nice try, though.
He was going for Steve Comer.
Great effort by Comer, but he just can't quite hang on the end line there. So UNO still leads by 5, 21-16 in the third quarter of play here at Caniglia Field. We'll be back with more football right after this. Back at Caniglia Field, 21-16, UNO leading Northwest Missouri State in this Division II playoff game. The wind blowing out of the north, as you can see, real strong, and some freezing drizzle falling. Merlin, we got a correction to make on that touchdown.
That was Steve Comer. We wanted to give it to Matt Becker because he's from Millard South, but Steve Comer probably wants credit for that. He's a freshman out of Newton, Iowa. Made a nice play to make it 21-16. And Dave Purnell about ready to kick off
with the wind. And let's see what happens. Big kick going down to about the 5-yard line.
It's Marte Jenkins, Dave.
Marte Jenkins takes it back around the far side, breaks free of one tackler. He's got an alley over there, and he's taken out of bounds at the 43 of UNO, 42-yard line of UNO, where UNO will put it in play 1st and 10. Let's go to Ross Sternstrom on the sideline. Rossi?
UNO defensive coordinator Jeff Jamrog pulled the defensive unit over to the sideline over here just a few minutes ago and told them, hey, don't let penalties hurt you. They had it at 4th and 2. It would have been that big sack. They would have probably tried a field goal. So they said, don't hurt yourselves, guys. Don't hurt yourselves. And they're starting to wear down a little bit. They're starting to substitute a little more. Back to you.
Thanks, Rossi. Concentration. Playing under control. UNO 1st and 10 at their own 42 in the I formation. Thompson gives the ball to Hertzina, and he runs hard up the middle again.
Nothing fancy, Dave, but that's exactly what the Mavs want to do, is continue to run the time off that clock and move the ball down the field. Well, that touchdown really changed the momentum of this one, because the Mavs were on the verge of getting some breathing room and really enjoying the ride home here, but now it's going to be a much bumpier ride, I'm afraid.
Little mistakes like that, you know, it doesn't seem like to grab somebody. Yeah, there's a score. Missouri over Kansas, 42-25.
The Tigers are back, Dave. It's the year of the Tiger.
Okay, 2nd and 4 for UNO from their own 48. And inside to Corey this time. He picks up about 2 up to the 50, where it'll be 3rd down and 2 to go, Mer.
Corey been a workhorse here in the second half for the Mavs as they continue to try to work the middle of that Northwest Missouri line, which is really one of their strengths there. They have a lot of size up front, but the Mavericks also have a tremendous size on their offensive front line, a couple of 300-pounders in there, and they can work it pretty well there as well.
Okay, 3rd down and 2 from their 50-yard line for UNO. And they give it to, oh, he breaks through. Oh, and he drops the ball. Oh, man, Jeff Hertzina had nothing but goal line ahead of him.
Boy, Dave, that is reminiscent of that Colorado-Nebraska game 6 or 7 years ago when J.J. Flanagan had what could have been the winning touchdown and dropped it. Here you see Hertzina. Wow, he had a hole there, had the opening.
Tries to shift it.
He shifted the ball to his right hand, and there he saw he lost it.
Oh, and he got it back.
But in the books, it goes down as about a 30-yard gain.
Pat Burns can take his heart out of his throat again. Okay, 1st and 10 at the 22 of Northwest Missouri State for UNO. And Corey gets the ball this time out the outside and picks up about 7 yards. 6.
Once again, you have to be impressed with the way the Mav offensive line has taken control of the middle of the field here. All their yardage is coming up the middle right now, as they face a 2nd and 5 now at the 16-yard line.
What's Jeff Hertzina saying to himself now, huh? Could have been 6. Okay, 2nd and we'll call it 2nd and 5 from the 17 for UNO. Thompson option left, keeps the ball, cuts it back in, and picks up about 3 yards down to just inside the 15, down to about the 14-yard line.
Hey, we ought to wish good luck, Dave, to Rose Shires and the volleyball team.
Absolutely.
Top-ranked Lady Mavs, as we look at the replay here at Thompson. Top-ranked Lady Mavs are in Sioux Falls this weekend in that NCAA regional. And, boy, they've had a great season.
Tremendous. Top-ranked team in the nation. They'll be playing the winner of the North Dakota State Augustana match tomorrow.
And here we have a 3rd and 3, Dave.
3rd and 3 at the 15 for UNO. And Herdzina gets it again. This time the middle is not there. This time there's all kinds of people in the middle. And Herdzina stopped for no gain at the 15, which will bring up a 4th down and 15, or 4th down at the 15-yard line.
Well, let's see what Pat Prince decides to do here. He has a 5-point lead. A field goal would make it an 8-point lead. But once again, his kicker, Paul Cosell, is out. So I believe the Mavericks are going to take a timeout here.
Nope.
Or it's Northwest Missouri taking the timeout.
We got 7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. 7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. UNO leading 21.
That's there you go.
There's Kara practicing. She's in the field house.
Oh, my.
That's you know what that is, Vernon? That's the steam from that wrestling tournament.
That's true.
Man, got to be at least 7,000 or 8,000 wrestlers in the field house right now.
It's a busy weekend here at the field house. Tomorrow, the UNO Lady Mav basketball team will open their season. They will play Graceland College at 2 o'clock at the field house. And wrestling today with the Brand Kaufman Open, which is right now the largest tournament of its kind in the country. And we walked through the field house, and we agree there are, as you mentioned, a lot of bodies there wrestling around. But here we have the Mavs with a 4th and 3, and it looks like they are going to go for it. They will not go for the field goal. So Herdzina is in, but he's not back to kick. He's back to run the football.
Okay, 4th and 3 from the 15 for UNO. And Herdzina gets it up the middle, bounces outside, and he's stopped.
Man. What a big play by the Bearcat defense. What a big play. And that is the final play of the 3rd quarter, Dave. And Northwest Missouri will take some momentum into this 4th quarter. 21-16, the Mavericks are leading. We'll be back with more right after this timeout. UNO 21, Northwest Missouri 16.
We are back at Caniglia Field. You can see the press box there. Steam on the inside, freezing drizzle on the outside. You got your choice, folks.
No hot air jokes, please.
No, no hot air jokes from me. 1st and 10 for Northwest Missouri State at their own 17 after that great defensive stand against UNO going forward on 4th down. First play of the 4th quarter is a handoff to Haynes. He's outside and knocked out of bounds right at the 21-yard line. That'll make it 2nd and 7. Here's a replay.
Oh. There you see Haynes getting knocked out of bounds, and that is our timeout coordinator for our telecast. And he's a trooper, though. He's a trooper. He's back in action.
He broke his cable. Got to go get a new cable.
Wow.
Yeah, the fans are ecstatic. No more TV timeouts.
Yeah.
All right, 2nd and 7 for Northwest Missouri State. Single back is Haynes at their own 21. He gets the ball, and he's outside, and he's got the 1st down. And he's dragged down by Ben Titus.
Boy, there was some nice downfield blocking there, Dave. And once again, the old Mo has swung over now. This time the Bearcats have it. There you see a nice block there that gave Haynes the opening. Lamar O'Neal put on his back by the Bearcats. They got a 1st down, and they have 14 minutes to work with here. They're trailing 21-16. As the temperatures continue to fall out here at Caniglia Field.
This one's going to go right down to the wire, I got a feeling, Murr.
I think you're right about that, Dave.
1st and 10, 33. Haynes with the ball again. Cuts back and is stopped after a 2-yard gain. So we'll have a 2nd and 8 at the 35 of the Bearcats.
And a flag was just thrown in the defensive backfield. We'll have to see who it was on. I have a feeling it was on the Mavericks. If it was, that's very unfortunate for them. The Northwest Missouri players are cheering and clapping. We have a personal foul against UNO. That happened well after the play. At least the flag came flying well after the play. And that's going to result in another Northwest Missouri first down. They're going to be out here exactly at midfield. Wow.
So another break for Northwest Missouri State. They get a first down on a personal foul after the play. First and 10 at the 50-yard line. Northwest Missouri State trailing 21-16 now in the fourth quarter. I formation for the Bearcats. And another penalty flag. This one could have been, maybe they ran out of time. Yeah, it's against Northwest Missouri State. 5 yards for illegal procedure.
So it's first and 15 now for the Bearcats, Dave.
Going into the wind, too, and I got a feeling that's going to make a difference in this fourth quarter, Murr. Especially since UNO has their backup kicker doing all the kickoffs and place kicking for them, Hertzina.
Well, you know, they were in a situation earlier where they probably would have gone for the field goal had they had Cosell and had they had that wind not been so strong. So that could, you're right, that could be a very strong factor. And there's Haynes lined up deep in the backfield.
And he gets the ball going to the right side, and he's through the first line of defense all the way down, still on his feet all the way down, almost a first down at the 41-yard line of the Mavericks.
And that's a sign of a strong man, Dave. Haynes was dragging Brian Holston, and Brian Holston's about 300 pounds. He was dragging him downfield. Jesse Haynes just awfully tough to knock off of his feet. He had a quiet third quarter, but he's really picked it up here in the fourth quarter. And the Bearcats are on the move. Second down and 1.
You have to have a trailer hitch to drag Holston. That's a big guy.
And you have to wonder, too, Dave, the lack of depth with the Mav linebacking situation. They don't have the players they had earlier in the year. Maybe it's taking its toll at this point in the game.
All right, second and 1. And Haynes with it again. This time he stopped and then stays on his feet. And now he's brought down by Ben Titus.
He lateraled.
Lateral to back to Teal, the quarterback. Holy cow.
You know, Dave, Thursday I was down at the six-man championship game in Lincoln. That was a play right out of the six-man playbook.
That's a required play. That was an incredible effort.
You see it. Now watch Haynes. Watch Haynes. He's Teal trailing him. It's like the reverse option. This time Haynes is making the pitch. Just as he's going down, Titus had him hogtied. It didn't pick up any yardage, but, you know, excited us quite a bit. So it's third down and 2.
Still third and 2.
They lost about a yard on that play. There you see the numbers on Haynes, 189 yards, maybe some more right there.
He gets the ball again, and I think they stopped him short.
Yeah, he's short.
About a foot.
He made that leap just a little bit early. We may see that same play again coming up here on fourth down, because I'm sure they're going to go for this.
You got the feeling they got to go for it now. They're in the fourth quarter. 11 minutes left in the ball game. They trail by 5. And they got fourth down and about 4 inches right at the UNO 40-yard line.
The first down marker seems to be right on the yard line there. As you mentioned, that is just a matter of inches. And you'll just, if it gets to the white, it should be a first down. We'll see here.
Huge play. The I formation, you got to think Haynes is going to get it. And he does. And he gets it.
Well, he is a workhorse.
So first down for Northwest Missouri State at the UNO 38.
Well, he's well over 190 yards for the game now, Dave, and his high of the season was 216. So, well, he is headed for a good day. I mean, he's already had one, and the Maverick defense has not given up a lot of yards on the run. Earlier this year, as you see a couple scores come up on the screen, earlier this year they played St. Cloud with their fine running back Randy Martin. They totally shut him down. But Jesse Haynes has been another story today.
First and 10, and Haynes gets it once again. This time he gets about 2 yards, 2.5 maybe, to the 36-yard line, just outside the 36 of UNO.
We're coming up on the 10-minute mark now, Dave. About 10:05 left to go. As you see some more scores, Virginia Tech over West Virginia today, 31-14. Miami dropping Boston College, 43-26. Florida State tied with Maryland. A little bit of a surprise there as they look forward to that big showdown next week. Penn State is up on Michigan State. And no score on Tennessee and Kentucky. So we have a 2nd and 7 situation, Dave, at the 37-yard line, 36-yard line.
Okay, here we go. Single back. for the Bearcats. And the option play, and number 32 is tackled for a loss of about 6 yards. That's Derek Lane. He's a sophomore from Atlantic, Iowa. In maybe to give Haynes a rest.
You know, Lane has had a fine season on his own, over 500 yards, but he had nothing going there.
Great tackle there by Nate Sullivan, yeah.
The rover back who came up, closed down on that one very well.
Now another. This is as big as that 4th down play. 3rd and 13.
And they brought Haynes back in immediately. Well, now Haynes is going out. Haynes is going out. He will not be on the field for this play. So they're going to look like they're going to spread things out a little bit as Teal sets up in that shotgun formation.
The snap back, and a penalty flag is down. Here's the pass, and it's incomplete. But there's a flag down on the field at the line of scrimmage, thrown just as the ball was snapped.
Flag on the flag.
Referee Dwight Niebling calling a legal procedure on Northwest Missouri, so
that's going to make it 3rd and 20.
Bearcats.
Or close.
I wonder if UNO can refuse this play. If they can, and they did, that's going to mean a change of possession.
Change of possession, 4th down and 13. So that was huge.
Coach Mel Churchman thought he had it going there. They had a pretty good drive going, but it was stopped there. Good work by the Maverick defense, holding on here.
Okay, we got a punt into the wind now.
Gladwin.
Jake Young back in single safety to receive it. Shane Gladwin, the punter. No rush. And he slips and falls. A driving kick. That's going to bounce and roll dead at the 22-yard line.
A driving kick. Yeah.
No, he drove it.
Right off the road, Dave.
Okay.
8:32 left in this one. It's 21-16. UNO is leading. We'll be back with more from Caniglia Field.
Okay, 21-16. UNO leading Northwest Missouri State. The Mavericks ball at their own 22. It's late in the ball game. It's about 10-4, but there's about 8 minutes to play, and UNO needs a concentrated drive here and get some points and put this ball game away if they're going to win it. This is a big defensive stand for the Bearcats. Fake handoff, and Thompson keeps the ball. He's going to run it. He's got some room outside the 30, 35, and out of bounds at the 37, 38-yard line of UNO. Nice 18-yard gain, 15-yard gain for Thompson.
Boy, that's a nice situation when Ed Thompson could do that. Here's the replay on that. What a weapon he is. Nobody open there. Good coverage by the Bearcats, but that side of the field is wide open. And Thompson has the speed to get outside, and that field is getting a lot slicker, Dave. We can see ice forming
just in the last few minutes.
And on the sidelines, the temperatures continue to drop. And it's 1st and 10 for the Mavs.
1st and 10 at their own 39, almost the 39-yard line. Single back, 3 wide receivers. And it's a handoff to Hertzina, and he's tackled for a loss of 2 yards. Rossi, you're on sidelines. What's up?
I'll tell you what, you talked about the ice forming on the field. The temperatures dropped down into the 20s, and that wind has picked up, and a lot of these down on the sidelines right now, a lot of ice. And but Ed Thompson, that north-south running works. You don't want to cut on this turf because it's not going to work this afternoon. I hope you guys are warm up there, are you?
No, we're cold. We're just as cold as you are.
If it makes you feel any better, Russ.
2nd and 11 for UNO at their own 37.
We probably aren't as cold as he is.
No, he's colder. And the handoff inside to Hertzina once again, and he picks up about 9 yards on the play.
Just short of the 1st down. This would be huge for the Mavs. The clock ticks away. 7:38 left to go in this ball game with the Mavs holding on to a 5-point lead. And once again, let's watch the work up front. The guys up front opening the seam for Hertzina. Nothing fancy, just north-south running, as Ross mentioned. That's the way to go in this. You don't want to try to go wide right now and take a chance on slipping down. 3rd and 3 now, Dave.
Okay, 3rd and 3 at their own 46. Huge drive for UNO, a huge defensive stand for the Bearcats. Jake Young in motion. It's a handoff to Hertzina once again, and he doesn't quite get there. It's going to bring up a 4th down and about 2 at the 47 for UNO.
That was a big stand for Northwest Missouri. The Mavs could have really taken control here. But the secondary and the linebackers, Aaron Crow coming up to make the play. Number 7 for Northwest Missouri. He's a sophomore.
So the receiving team comes out for Northwest Missouri State. Jason Milnick is back in a single safety.
Jason's returned a couple of punts for touchdowns this year, so he's a dangerous guy back there as well.
Snap is back. The kick is away. Nice driving kick with the wind. Another one of those driving kicks. All the UNO defenders down there, and Melnick's going to be stopped at the 18-yard line.
Now that really was a driving kick, Dave.
Well, the other one was driving too.
A low drive.
Okay, low driving kick.
6:14 left in this game, Dave. 21-16 UNO. We'll be back with more driving kicks after this time out.
Northwest Missouri State trailing UNO 21-16 late in the fourth quarter. The Northwest Missouri State fans had a cheer, though. Their high school team won in the state playoffs.
Yeah, Maryville beat Branson 21-14. So Boxcar Willie's boys went down to defeat.
1st and 10 at the 18 for the Bearcats. Out of the shotgun, pass over the middle is almost intercepted.
Ooh,
batted around and nobody wanted it.
That time Teal was looking for Matt Becker, the Millard South grad. He almost had that ball. Here's a look at it again, and then the Mavs almost had it. Becker wide open, just couldn't hang on. There's Alton Johnson going after it, and it falls to the ground.
It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Northwest Missouri 81 yards away. It's not going to happen with plays like that.
No. Out of the shotgun, 2nd and 10 at their own 19. Bearcats on the option outside to Haynes. He's got some room. He's got a 1st down. He's still on his feet and then tripped up finally. Oh.
You can't say enough about this guy who just went over the 200-yard mark. It looked like he was skating there because there was the footing did not look very good. Somehow he kept his feet. Let's take a look at this guy. This is one great run, folks.
Was this Pat Davis that tripped him up here at the very end?
Some nice downfield blocking. Davis finally comes down to, as you mentioned, trip him up.
But 19 and Davis was one of them. Man, oh man, and Alton Johnson too. Okay, 1st and 10 at their own 45.
26 yards on that play.
Northwest Missouri State driving, trying to get the lead in this ball game. Handoff inside to Haynes out of the shotgun, and he's got 6 more yards. Up to the UNO 49, just inside the 49.
We were talking in the break how the lack of passing has really killed Northwest Missouri, but you know, when you got a guy like Haynes, you're still dangerous, you're still in the game. And when they line up in that shotgun, spread things out, it still creates things, creates openings for him. And now a 2nd down and 4, maybe they do have a chance to pass the ball. 30 carries, 226 yards. That is a career high for Jesse Haynes, who had 216 against Emporia State. So what a game he has had. That's over 7 yards a carry. That's about his average.
He looked like he was limping a little bit there, but he looks okay on the sideline.
Boy, carrying the ball 30 times on a day like this, a tough chore.
Another handoff. Once again, Derek Lane, and he's tackled for a loss of about 1.5 yards, which is going to bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Bearcats. Right at the 50-yard line again.
So both times Derek Lane has carried the ball when Haynes had to leave the game. Both times he's lost yardage, and they've taken Derek Lane out, and they're going to their passing offense. I don't see Haynes in there either right now. UNO band keeping things charged up here, trying to keep things warm for the Mavericks. 4:25. The clock is ticking. 4:23. And the Mavs holding on to a 5-point lead. 3rd down and 4, Dave.
Another huge play. Another huge play for the Bearcats this time. 3rd and 5 at the 50. And it's an end around. And he's stopped. What a great defensive play. Mark Survey stopped on a great defensive play by Jason Bartling, who wouldn't buy the fake and stayed with it and took him out on the reverse for another loss of about 4 yards, which brings up a 4th and 8.
Wow, that really backfired. There you see Survey didn't have a chance as Bartling came flying in, read that one very well. And now Northwest Missouri with 3:43 and counting will have to punt the football again.
What do you do, Murr? Do you try to field this thing or just let it bounce?
I think they'll I don't know if it'll reach that far to where the return man is. We'll see what happens.
There's a low driving kick, and it's going to go out of bounds right at the 17-yard line for UNO. So this
3:26 left in the game, Dave, and UNO will have the ball on their own 17-yard line. They are leading 21-16. We'll be back for the big finish here right after this break.
We are back. It is crunch time. Late in the ball game, Northwest Missouri State trailing UNO 21-16 with just under 3.5 minutes left. UNO ball 1st and 10 at their own 17. They need what, 2 first downs maybe, Merlin?
Oh, I think so, but the clock stops with the first down too, so they just need to keep the ball going here.
Going to keep it on the ground to Hertzina. He's outside for a loss of about a yard.
Russ Strincham is standing by on the Chili sideline. Russ, have you warmed up yet?
Not a bit, but I'll tell you what, they pulled the offensive line over and they told them this is the time you have to really get physical in the final 3 minutes. Finish the play all the way. Don't just hit him at the first part of the play, but finish it out, get physical, and that's what they need to do for the final 3 minutes of the game. Back to you.
All right, Rossi, 2nd down now, 2nd and about 11 for UNO. Out of the I formation. And inside handoff to Corey. And he's going to pick up about 4 yards up to the 20-yard line. So we're going to have a 3rd and 7.
2:40 left, and I think Northwest Missouri has taken a timeout. They're going to try to stop that clock as these guys are leaving the game, trying to sneak out. And we'll take a break and come back with the final 2 minutes and 40 seconds with UNO leading 21-16.
That tells it all. The scoreboard at Caniglia Field. UNO leading 21-16 with the ball. 3rd and 7 at their own 20-yard line. They need a first down to keep this drive alive and not have to kick the ball away. What did they call? A pass out in the flat. And it is
calling an intercepted. They ruled that an interception. Jake Young battling for it. But Northwest Missouri somehow came up with it. I can't see who that is.
23.
Twan Young. Twan Young. That's his 5th interception of the year. Let's watch the play right here. This could be crucial. Thompson going up top. Usually Young grabs these. But that ball was underthrown. And Twan Young right on top of Young. Twan Young right on top of Jake Young.
Huge play.
Look. So Northwest Missouri takes over at their 41. 2:34 left to go in this game.
Out of the shotgun. Option left to Haynes. Haynes up to the 35 and out of bounds. Inside the 35 at the 34-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 3 for Northwest Missouri State.
Jeff Jamrock there, hoping that his defensive guys can come up with the stop here. The clock continues. Well, the clock is stopped because he went out of bounds with 2:26 left to go, and it's going to be 2nd and 4 for the Mavericks. I'm sorry, 2nd and 4 for the Bearcats.
Okay.
As the ice continues to form on the field, you can see chunks of it there.
Single back again is Haynes. What a great game he's had. Bearcats fake the handoff. Teal keeps it. He's going to run with it now. He's got plenty of room at the 20, the 15. He's in for a touchdown. And there's a penalty flag on the field.
We might have a hold here, Dave. We might have a hold.
Teal took it all the way in for the touchdown, but there is a penalty flag on the field at the 12-yard line. Let's see what it is. Holding on the Bearcats.
Wow.
That was huge. Great run by Teal.
And it happened way down the field. Let's see what Greg Teal does. Everybody's covered, and he takes off as he's done several times today. Damon Hansen trying to catch him. Can't. Let's see if we can see it here. There's Survey.
There it was. I'll bet it was right there. They were on Pat Davis, whoever was blocking him. He went down.
Now that went from the point of the foul, so that would put them at the 22, Dave. It's still a nice game for them. It's just not a touchdown, but they have 1st and 10 at the 22 with 2:14 left in this game.
What an exciting finish. This is great. From the shotgun. Teal with the ball and looking to throw. Now he's going to run it. And he is taken down at the 19-yard line on a nice tackle by Jason Bartling.
Bartling, who's the team's leading tackler, shows some good pursuit here. Boy, that Teal is dangerous. He hasn't been able to throw the ball very well, but he's still a threat when he's back there. Just couldn't shake past Bartling and was held to about 3 yards there. The clock continues to run with 1:45, 1:44.
We are coming right down to the wire, boy. What a great finish to a great ball game.
Second down now, 2nd and 7.
Single back is Haynes. Heel goes back, and he's going to float one in the corner. Nobody there, offense or defense, and it's incomplete.
His receiver, who I believe was Jason Melnick, had gone inside instead of going towards the flag. He'd gone towards the post.
So we got a big 3rd down now.
And a minute 23 left on the clock. Nobody but Mavericks over there. It's a 3rd and 7. There's Jeff Jamrock, Marvin Sanders, former Husker, a couple of former Huskers, in fact, exhorting their guys to step it up here on 3rd down.
The crowd's into it. 3rd and 7 from the 19-yard line. Out of the shotgun again. Haynes is going to get the ball one of these times. It's just when they gets it there, and the Maverick defense stops him at the 22-yard line.
Ben Titus in on that one along with Damon Hansen.
And another timeout for the Bearcats. You knew Haynes was going to get the ball sooner or later.
That play has worked very well, but this time it didn't. There's a minute 12 left in this game. The Mavs up by 5, and there's a timeout on the field. What a great game it turned out to be, and once again our greetings out to fans down in Maryville. You have every right to be proud of your Northwest Missouri team. They are battling hard here. Of course, Maverick fans are excited about what's happened here on the campus of UNO, and both coaches are class acts. Mel Churchma for Northwest Missouri, Pat Burns for UNO. We met with them last night, and they're very cordial gentlemen who love the game of football and are just very happy and very cooperative with us, and we can't thank them enough. And we're coming down to what could be the biggest play of the game, Dave. 4th and 10 from the 22-yard line, 1:12 left. The Mavs holding on to a 5-point lead. A field goal doesn't do Northwest Missouri any good, so let's see what they come up with here.
Okay, Teal's coming back in.
Matt Becker, the tight end from Millard South, leaving the field. Here comes Teal.
Haynes is in. A single back set again out of the shotgun. This is for all the marbles right here. 4th and 10 at the 23. Pass over the middle is complete for a first down. Down to the 10-yard line. Holy cow. They faked it to Haynes and threw a pass over the middle, complete to the 10-yard line. Northwest Missouri State.
That was Chris Zeller here, number 4. Chris Zeller makes the catch. That is clutch. Nice. Teal has had trouble throwing today, but this time he came through very well. And it'll be 1st and looks like they can still get a first down, Dave. I don't think that's 1st and goal. It's 1st and 10. They're just outside the 10.
Here we go. He's passing again. He's floating into the end zone, and nobody there again. So we got a 2nd down coming up.
Clock is run down to 44 seconds. 44 seconds left in this one. He was looking for Steve Comer, who scored the touchdown earlier. Here's another look at it. Teal from the 10. And Comer had a little bit of an opening there, but the ball was way overthrown. The Mavericks had pretty good coverage on that play, so it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Pat Davis doing a good job delaying Comer's pattern so that the ball got there before he did. Here's 2nd and 10 from the 10-yard line. Northwest Missouri State needing a touchdown. Teal back to pass. He slips over the middle, incomplete.
That was Survey, and wow, he had that. That's a play that's been very effective for them this season, as the clock is now stopped with 40 seconds to go. 40 seconds and 3rd down. Here's a look at it again. Teal going over the middle. Survey just outside of his grasp there. It's a little bit overthrown.
You know, it's such an important timing pattern, and I'm sure Survey, not running quite as quick on this icy field, threw off that timing just a little bit.
Teal slipped too as he delivered the ball.
Yep.
So 3rd down again from the 10.
Wide receivers left and right, doubles. Haynes in the backfield. Haynes floating out, and oh! Teal goes down on a slip on the ice, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 17 from the 17-yard line.
Wow, that was huge. You hate to see that happen to any quarterback, but that's the condition of the field right now. As the temperatures drop, it's just turned into a skating rink out there. Forget about skating tonight on Channel 6. We have it right here, unfortunately, for Greg Teal.
You know, the center of the field, Murr, has a crest on it, and that is frozen before the rest of the field has.
There you see the time left. This is the final play of the game, Dave. We're down to 8 seconds. They're going to have to go into the end zone. Here it comes. And he scored the touchdown. Jesse Haynes scored the touchdown.
Holy cow.
And look at that scene in the end zone. Northwest Missouri has won it. Time is gone. 22-21. Northwest Missouri has beaten UNO. The student body coming out onto the field. What disappointment for the Mavericks. What joy for the Bearcat fans. Here you see Cedric Welch. The Mavericks can't believe it. You know, Dave, there was probably 2 seconds left on the clock when he snapped that ball. And Jesse Haynes made the catch, and it's only fitting what a great game he played. And the Bearcats win it 22-21.
Absolutely incredible. What an incredible finish to a football game. Well, we saw it all.
Here's a look at the winning touchdown, and one that I'm sure they'll enjoy in Maryville, and we'll turn it off here in Omaha. Teal, what a clutch player. Haynes makes a juggling catch, takes it in for the touchdown. And here's another look at it.
Haynes comes free out of the backfield. You can see ball is laid right there at the 2-yard line. He goes in. Holy cow, what a ball game. All the Northwest Missouri State fans jubilant on the sideline. They're going to make them go for the extra point, the point after. The only chance for UNO is what? To block the kick and run it back for a touchdown?
You're right. I didn't think about that, but they will have to go for the extra point.
Now they got a 15-yard penalty. Is that a
probably for excessive celebrating?
Yeah, they're marking it back at the 18-yard line. Why couldn't they go for 2 and just fall down, Murr? Berlin, what would be the strategy here would be to go for 2 and then just kneel down, wouldn't it?
I think you could do that, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're just waiting for this celebration to finish off here. It's getting so cold here, our cameras are fogging up a little bit. There's kneel down.
That's what they did.
And that's it, and now it's time to celebrate for Northwest Missouri.
Holy cow. Man, oh man, what a ball game.
In a minute, we'll try to go down to the field to Ross Jernsburg, but let's look at the celebration right now. This was a great football game. You couldn't ask for more on a chilly day here at Caniglia Field. UNO fans could ask for a victory, but it didn't happen. And, wow.
As the Northwest Missouri State fans out on the field, the teams shaking hands afterwards. A huge disappointment for UNO, but a huge great game for both teams and a victory for Northwest Missouri State. And Ross is on the field. Take it away, Rossi.
Coach Churchma, a tremendous victory, exciting. Tell me what you were thinking on that last play, what you were trying to do.
Well, we ran an A snake where you bring the back out on the out route and then down the seam, and he just made a great catch. You don't coach that. He got the ball in one hand and caught it. That's just great play by the quarterback and the A-back.
What were you thinking there in the final minutes? I mean, you're still down by 5 points. You had to score a touchdown.
Well, we had a punt early, and our defense came up with a big play. Twan Young's been a big play guy all year. He made the interception when we had to have it. We converted a 4th down when we had to, and here we're 4th and goal. I don't know what more you can say about our football team.
What can you say about Jesse's day?
Jesse had a great game. He's a great running back. Thank God he's with us.
All right, congratulations and good luck in the next round.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, Coach Churchma, and Northwest Missouri State wins it 22-21. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Rossi.
And they will play Northern Colorado, who won today over Pittsburgh State. So Northwest Missouri and Northern Colorado. Dave, we'll be back with more, but first we're going to take another timeout.
We are back at Caniglia Field, where the Northwest Missouri State fans who made the trip to Omaha are very happy. They're all out on the field, I'll guarantee you, as they pull off a 1-point last-second victory.
Here's a look at the numbers. Small consolation for UNO. They lead in most of them. Rushing yards 289 to 218. Passing yards, well, if you count that last one, that put Northwest Missouri over the top, 65 to 58. UNO 347 to 283 in total yards. They led in first downs, but the all-important stat down at the bottom, 22-21, Northwest Missouri over UNO, and Jesse Haynes, what a game he had, well over 200 yards. There's the scene on the field. Coach Churchman in the middle of it, gathering his players and his fans around him. They are going to savor this moment.
Here's one more look at the last play of the game.
As I said,
fake inside there, and Haynes was out of the backfield and running down the sideline.
And he snapped that ball, Dave, with about 2 seconds left.
Oh, absolutely incredible. Here's another look. And you can see Haynes going out there. Teal finds him. The guy in the end zone was covered.
He was. That was just a great play.
Holy cow.
What a great time we had here today, Dave, covering this thing. We do this once every 12 years or so. It was worth it. 22-21. Thanks to our director, Steve Alvis, and the crew from ETV who helped us out, all our crew, actually, from Channel 6 and everybody. And Dave, what a thrill. Let's do it again. I was hoping to do it next week, but we're going to have to wait.
It was a tremendous game, a tremendous win for the Bearcats, and best of luck to them in the rest of the playoffs. For UNO, a tough ending to the season, but a great season it was. And congratulations to both teams. And thank you, Merlin. Thanks, Ross, if you're not frozen to death down there. And, well, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the game. The final score again, Northwest Missouri State 22 and the UNO Mavericks 21. Drive carefully if you're going anywhere. Thanks.